clarify with text on screen that her mom had simply thought that she had met a new boy and certainly didn't think that she had robbed a bank or committed any other felonies. Now, you may be asking yourself at this point, why would somebody do something like this and broadcast it to the world via YouTube? Well, in the video,
she's
while
crazy.
Hannah is in the process of trying to
And
find
self-defeating.
a pen to write with, she kind of answers
And she
that
had
question.
to brag.
According
She was like,
to Hannah, this whole
I needed
bank
to
robbery
brag.
bit was actually her way of protesting against the government. This
Wow.
revolutionary 19-year-old would-be felon would also claim to have been a victim of sorts. How, might you ask? Well, she claimed that in the past, one of her children were taken away from her by the state. Not exactly sure how bank robbery is.
Yeah, I could see that.
For loss of custody, but
yeah, I had a friend that they did that to. They knew she was on speed, so they took her kid away, and I know that kid. He's a great kid. And like she went fucking crazy. She went to jail for 3 years on possession because they were dealing out of Casper, Wyoming. And I love her to death. She's one of my best friends. That's one of my friends, A. And we're close, but we don't talk. And they took her kid away, and she was a wreck for like 10 fucking years. She hated them so much. And then she just like got back in his life and got better, and started having money and being more stable as she got older and more reliable. And they finally like allowed them to have a relationship. But you got to imagine how bad that was for both of them. And her son was severely autistic and needed help, and he needed his mother, and they separated them. And I could see her wanting to kill the government for it. I could see her wanting that, but I don't think she would. She's not the type to ever do anything crazy, though. She's the type that she was very crazy young girl, and when she was young, I loved her to death. She was crazy, but not crazy in a bad way, like crazy in a good way. And she knew some bad people and did some bad things, but like when things got really bad for her, it was when the government took her kid away, and I have some sympathy for a woman when they do that.
Custody, but whatever. Hannah elaborates more on this custody
situation.
It's
always
drugs.
That
the state had taken
drugs.
her child away
It's
at
drugs.
the hospital after it was born, as a result of her facing charges of neglect. The veracity of her claims are unclear, but regardless,
no, it's drugs.
Video,
she had meth in her bloodstream. I guarantee it.
I may not be a mother anymore, but I can still find purpose, and that pretty much wraps up her video. The video description says, "I just stole a car and robbed a bank. Now I'm rich.
Yep, and say, fuck the government.
College financial aid, and tomorrow I'm going for a shopping spree. Bite me. I love Green Day." This young woman seemed confident on the surface that she had gotten away with everything.
I love Green Day.
And it certainly appeared this way to viewers. However, deep down, she was worried. If you look at her YouTube activity in the hours following this upload, it's clear that she may have been worried about some legal issues. If you check her subscription box, one can find that she is subscribed to 3 channels. A random channel with 238 subscribers, Shane Dawson TV, and another channel that provides legal advice called Law Videos Inc. It's almost as if she expected that she may be behind bars soon. Now, as you might expect, this shopping spree that Hannah had planned would never come to fruition. Bank robberies don't go uninvestigated by police, and it didn't take long for them to find out that she was the culprit. This reckless woman would be arrested on the same day of the braggadocious YouTube upload.
Yep, there she is. She's getting busted, and she's smiling because she's an idiot. She doesn't know what's about to happen, and it's called the system, and it breaks you. See it? She's got a nice big cross on her. She thinks God's gonna take care of her. Nah, there's no God in the system. She's got the cross, and she's like, yep, I'm being hung like Jesus or something. She's in her brain. And, but no, it turns out that you're in the system. There's no God now. There's no God that can save your soul now. You're in the fucking system. And you're about to see what it's like.
clear the video itself had not even gone
for a long
viral
time
at the
too.
time
She
of her
probably
arrest.
faced
The
what,
woman was implicated.
5 to 7 years armed robbery. They got to make an example of her. They got to be like, oh, any other juggalettes that go crazy. We can't be like steal a car and rob a bank, right? So they probably made an example of her. Probably 7 to 14 years armed robbery. They don't fuck around with that.
After her
especially from
ex-husband
citizens.
reportedly ratted her out.
You know what I'm saying?
Like,
it's one thing when it's career criminals and they know that they're there for money, and when anybody in the court asks why it happened, the answer is money, right? But then, like, a citizen going crazy and jacking a car and robbing a bank in succession with no planning or anything at all, they can't. They have to slam dunk. They have to like put the finger on the scale when that happens, because they can't encourage people going crazy and just doing whatever the fuck they want to do. They can't encourage that. They have to really like harm you when you try to do something like that. And I don't blame them for trying to do it. You shouldn't be able to go on a spree because you're a crazy person and harm a lot of people. It really shouldn't be like that. I had a friend a year before his brother died, who was a friend of mine. He led a high-speed chase all the way from a town that starts with E all the way to a town that starts with B, which is, I don't know, 50 miles or something. It was like 50 miles or something like that. It's a little less than that. It's like 39, I think, something. It's like 39 miles or something like that. It's pretty fucking far. And he led the cops all the way to downtown, town that starts with B. And his brother is my friend Alan, who's now passed, so I can say his name without probably disrespecting him, Because what's he gonna do, He's passed now. He can't yell at me for saying his name, and nobody's gonna sue me for saying his name. His name is, and I'm being respectful to his family, and I'm representing them here too. So his brother went up for possession of a deadly firearm and a high-speed chase about a year before my friend Alan passed. And while his brother was in jail for that, my friend Alan passed and overdosed on heroin. And where I'm going with this is like, in their scene, in their people, the way they conducted business, everything that they did, breaking the law and the thrill of breaking the law was the definition of everything of who they were. And I don't fault them for almost how any of it went down. But I mean, I kind of lost what I was saying here. I'm gonna replay the video, so I'm gonna try to think about what I was trying to say about him.
And suggested that they could use the money to get tattoos together. When officers
And and that sucks. It sucks. When my friend got out of jail, he was like 2.5 years later, and he got out of jail. Because he didn't do anything really except for the high-speed chase, And he got out of jail, and he was like, yeah, and he called me, or he didn't call me, DM me, and he was like, yeah, Alan's dead. And I was like, oh my God. I wonder why, like, shit went dead. I was like, I knew what happened with you. Alan told me. I didn't know Alan was dead. And he was like, yeah. And those guys were like the most like bandit people I've ever met. They were not bad people. I mean, I guess you could call them bad because they like drugs and they were crazy. But I wouldn't say you could call them bad. They were bad people, I wouldn't say. I trusted them. I wouldn't say they were bad people. They just were... I mean, I was too. We didn't give a living shit about the law. I never did. Not until they broke my spine. or whatever, you know, not until they just broke me and terrified me and terrorized me with 10 years on a non-felony charge probation violation. I mean, it is a felony. It's like the probation violation is a felony if they want it to be. And so they were like, you're going to face 10 years on a probation violation charge. Now, I was terrorized by this. I lived my life for 2 years like I was going to die. And, you know, and I learned firsthand, you know, what the system was like, right? And I think that's why I'm telling my Alan story. So, like, after that, like, I looked at my friend Alan, my friend Jay, who is Alan's brother. I look at what Jay went through and what he faced in jail and what his parents told him while he was in there and all these other problems and stuff. And the whole reason, I think that both of them had issues with this and all the drugs they were doing and all the crime they were up to and all this. And I looked at forming a crew with them. I literally brought a prostitute friend of mine to meet them. And while they were meeting, we all did heroin. And like
Your skill has increased.
my friend, she saved Alan's life. He overdosed in front of us. And she slapped him and fucking threw water on him and screamed in his face for 25 minutes and got him to live, you know? She was pounding on his heart. She was feeding him sugar and shit. And it was just crazy. It was like one of the more terrible moments I've ever been in. And his brother, you know, was there for that. And I was looking at like that whole time in my life, like those people, their whole life was based around the idea of being an outlaw. And I think this girl's problem is like that. I think she's a born outlaw.
Officers showed up to her home to arrest Hannah.
It happens sometimes.
Would find the license plate so that
They don't care. They don't care about jail time. They don't give two shits about that. You can get just as much drugs in jail as you can out in the real world, you know, probably more. And it's more expensive. You sell your soul to do it, but it's easier to get high in jail, I think, than it is out here. Higher on good stuff, you know. And, yeah. Like, it's part of their lifestyle to just break rules all the fucking time. I know because it was part of my lifestyle. I was attracted to those people all the time. I like the outlaws. I liked being in a drug hotel room with drug dealers who lived in drug hotel rooms, who had strippers and prostitutes for friends, who conducted all the business for them. And we would all hang out in the same room. We would pass like a crack bong or the krong. You would pass the krong around, the crack bong. You would pass the krong around and you would vaporize fucking hits in the hotel room. And you would drop like between $1 and $2 grand or something like that on product. And you would just conduct business and be social with 20 other outlaws from that area. And I had a lifestyle like that for 2.5 years. And I ran with the baddest girl in Denver. She ran the town. I'm not kidding. You know what I'm saying? That was like my right-hand man was literally the biggest connect in Denver. Like, hands down. She could move weight. She did move weight. She moved weight. Like, one time, I kind of like tried out my friend for my gang. And I was like, yeah, I need a driver. And he was like, dude, you are a taxi driver. And I was like, no, I need a driver for when I'm in possession of larger amounts of drugs so that I don't face jail, you know? And he was like, oh, well, how much? And I was like, I don't know, $80 a session. It'll be maybe 3 hours. And he was like, serious? Like $25 an hour or something like that? And I was like, yeah, it's something like that. I'll pay you $80 for 3 hours. How's that? And that's what I had in my budget to pay him. I was like, that's why. I'll tell you right now, it's not because it's not because I don't want to pay you more. I told him, I was like, it's not because I have a lot of money. I'm a drug addict. I don't have a lot of money. But I was like, dude, like I can pay you $80 to drive me around. And you're not connected to it. You don't know what we're doing. You don't know. And for like 2 weeks, he drove us around. And I at that point, I full blown had come sit in the car with me. And we were like, We were like that was like the players' ball. When my friend was driving us, that was like the players' ball. We were smoking speed in the fucking back, you know, and making connects all day at $100. She didn't fuck with less than like 300 to 500, and I didn't fuck with less than 100. And we would just make connections all day. And she didn't care if I had business because it didn't really interfere with her. And as long as I was willing to sit with her and make sure she was safe and she was doing her stuff and all that, like, you know, we were good. And honestly, I want to get back in her life when my parents die, I think. As a partner, I think. Because, you know, I don't know. I've never met anybody more successful than her. Ever. Even my mother. Like I don't believe, like, okay, this girl moved millions. I watched her move thousands in just months, you know. This girl moved millions. She moved millions in her lifetime. She's been at this for many years, and she moved millions. And but she had bad habits and you know, and bad friends and bad boyfriends and just, you know, kind of a bad life, I think, kind of. Her father was a fucko, and her family was kind of crazy, and I love her family, but I miss her dearly, and that was my partner. She was the biggest fucking drug outlaw in Denver. I'm not kidding. She knew everybody. Like, the problem with her is that everybody fucking knew her. You couldn't go anywhere with her. She knew everybody in that city. She knew everybody and everything. And the problem was you couldn't be with her, like, without, like, essentially understanding that you're standing next to, like, a kingpin that's like, you know, connected with everybody. You know what I'm saying? Everybody. And she was like, I like you because you're just trying to support your habit and you're not thinking big. And she was like, every time any of my friends think big, they just go to jail. And all I do is I try to support my habit, and sometimes that's really expensive. And I was like, me too. Yeah. Yeah. And she was like, I really like that. She was like, my habit gets out of control and I have to pay out thousands of dollars just to keep it going. And I was like, yeah, me too, you know? And she was like, I think we understand each other. And I was like, yeah, I think so too. Yep. Cause it's not like you're doing this to be this bad person or to have the cops chase you or any of that. You do it because you have a habit, and it's like the addiction to the endorphin, you know, the endorphins from the you know, the fucking dopamine from the thrill of all of it. Like, one of our favorite things to do was to go to the I-70 truck stop in Denver I-70 truck stop. I forget the name of it. It's like Sap Brothers or something like that. I forget the name of it. It's like I-70 Denver best truck stop, right? It's right on I-70 and, like, I want to say Kipling, I think. It's the pilot on... It's the Sap Brothers. I'm sorry, there it is. It's Sap Brothers. It's 7120 East 49th, right? And yeah, and that's well, no, I'm sorry, that's Commerce City. I'm talking about west. We went west to Kipling, which is one of these. It's the Flying J. I think it's one of those. Oh, I am dying and I don't understand why. Oops. Yeah. Okay. Nope, can't catch him. He's too fast. So now I don't know where I'm going now. It's north, is it? Okay, and then we get this on, and now I'm gonna go stealth mode. Yay! And then we're gonna get on another mob first. Sleep for 30 seconds. Oh, you're so annoying. And so we would go, and I would take girls to the truck stop, and I would fuck them. Because you can just go into the bathroom, and it's like the best bathroom you've ever been in. It's huge, and it's got big old sink and a big old mirror and like a vanity and like, you know, and all this stuff. And it's got like a fancy shower with hot water and nice steamy hot shower, nice and clean. It's been cleaned, and it's a public shower, but it's well taken care of. And then, you know, it's expensive. It's like, I think it's like $13 something. Now it's probably more like $25, but it used to be like $13 or something for, you could be in there for an hour or two. I think it was like actually like three or 4 hours. They didn't care how long you were in there. They just wanted the money. And so, and so we would like get in there, we would do drugs and fuck, you know what I'm saying? Public showers in the truck stop. Yep. And I fucked a lot of drug girls that way. And not a lot. You know, like 10 drug girls that way. And you take them to the truck stop, and you're like, it's the fuck stop. They're like, where are we going? You say, the fuck stop. And they're like, what? Yeah, we're going to the fuck stop. And you stop for 2 hours at 4:15 in the morning, something like that. You take her to the Walmart when you're high on speed and let her shop for 2.5 hours and blow $50 or something like that. And then you take her to the truck stop and you fuck her in the shower, in the hot, steamy shower. And there's plenty of room in there. Plenty of room for 6 people, much less 2. And then you smoke speed in the fucking truck stop bathroom, and it's all foggy in there anyways. Nobody knows. They can't tell the difference of the smell or anything, or heroin. And yeah, and I miss days like that. I had days like that when I was younger. You know. And that's the sort of lifestyle that these outlaw people live, you know, that are addicted to this lifestyle. That's the stuff that you end up doing. Stuff like that. Motel rooms are really just endless fun if you think about it the right way.
In her bedroom. Authorities would also recover most of the cash. In fact, all of it was there except for about $30, so she didn't even spend much of it. After her arrest, Hannah's YouTube video would go viral and would be covered on many news platforms, including the Young Turks and Nancy Grace.
The Young Turks? Oh my God. She went crazy. They made her famous.
And on June 17, 2013, Hannah Sabata would be sentenced to serve 10 to 20 years in a Nebraska correctional center for women. She would be eligible for parole after 5 years served.
5 years.
Yikes. Now, apparently, Hannah was released early on parole in
now
November
she's
of
career.
2017, but her time out of jail didn't last long, as it would be revoked, and she went straight back to prison in November of 2018. Then in April of 2020, she allegedly assaulted a correctional officer, reportedly throwing hot water on him, and was charged with a Class 3A felony. She also has reportedly joined a class action lawsuit against the Nebraska Department of Correctional Services for alleged violations of her civil rights and constitutional rights based on perceived deficiencies in the Nebraska prison healthcare system. She's a piece of work, guys. In the time since Hannah's original upload, her video discussing her bank robbery has
like this.
2 million views.
Oh, yeah.
And although Sabata's actions have been somewhat forgotten over time, this thing will always be a peculiar piece of YouTube folklore that guys like me will dig up and bring back to the surface. But that was the story of the YouTube bank robber. Some YouTube comments under the video. In a world of stupid criminal stories, this chick has raised the bar unimaginably high and distinguished herself as a leader.
Nice, that tiger dropped 33 silver.
That stupid.
Not bad.
Pure comedy gold. I feel bad for your kid though. I hope they have a good upbringing. I hope you get your life together when you get out. I love that she put thought, time, and effort into making this video without at any point considering the consequences, even going as far as explaining her motives. The very best kind of idiot. Redditors say, it's literally one of the most astonishing displays of stupidity I've ever seen. I mean, she was clearly mental. This is way beyond just being dumb.
Nope, it's just prima donna behavior. Her trying to establish to all her friends that she's the baddest bitch on the block. And she's the craziest and into the most drugs and the most bad dudes and just, you know, the baddest bitch on the block. It happens all the time. If you don't, I hang out with, that's my type. That's my type. That's the girls that I chase. That's who they are. That's their core personality. They're the baddest bitches on the block. They make more money than you. They give the best blow job. They are like the ride or dies, you know, and they pride themselves on this. My ex is so like this. She won't admit it, but she is. She's so much like ride or die type girl, definitely. Oh, he's 26. I'm gonna fuck you over. I'm gonna fuck you over if you stop. Oh, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. I will lose this fight. Never mind. They always have to. It's so annoying. But you can see that the enemy is here. Quite a lot. So... This is my type. If they can't roll like her, I don't want them. Like, you know, I don't, like, if they aren't all like her. If they, I'm sorry, but if the girl isn't like her, I don't want her. Like, if they can't stand on their own, strongest woman you've ever fucking met, running circles, running crews, everybody's fucking mensch, you know what I'm saying? Fucking down to ride or die or whatever. If the girl's not like that, I can't fuck with it. You know what I'm saying? I look for the strong women. Strong. You know what I'm saying? Like, survivors. In the real sense of the word. Like, they'll do anything to get by. They don't care.
Our next case details the story of a mostly forgotten yet remarkable YouTube video.
I had a friend I really got along with a lot named Kayla in Normal, Illinois. She was special like that. She was like real bad. Yeah, I want this sign. I'll take it. I just can't seem to. He keeps resisting. He resisted so much. He resisted the last like 5 attempts to bleed him. It's so annoying.
Versus skateboarders. Uploaded to the site all the way back in 2007, this controversial video was one of the first instances of citizens publishing an unsavory interaction that they had with police to YouTube. While it's common to see these types of videos these days, Cops versus Skateboarders was one of the first of these videos, and the nature of the interaction recorded not only resulted in skateboarders being sent to jail, but also a storm of online outrage being directed towards police. To begin the lost tale of Cops vs. Skateboarders, we must go all the way back to 2007. The date was June 21st. It's a skater holiday of sorts, as it marks what has been dubbed Go Skateboarding Day. The holiday itself was created back in 2004 thanks to the collaboration of several large skateboarding companies. Skate shops often offer deals and bargains on Go Skateboarding Day, and special events are held at skate parks around the United States. Excitement buzzes in the skate community on this day, and many groups of skaters can be seen outside hitting the streets. Groups like these young men and young teenage girls from Hot Springs, Arkansas. 16-year-old Robbie Brindley, 21-year-old Matt McCormick, 13-year-old Jared Graham, 19-year-old Skylar Knowles, and 16-year-old Casey. These skaters, along with about a dozen or so other unnamed skaters, were out on Go Skateboarding Day and were bending the rules a bit. They congregated at the 200 block of Central Avenue in Hot Springs, Nebraska, right at the core of the city's urban tourist district where skateboarding was explicitly banned. The scene was said to have been somewhat chaotic. with witnesses reporting the rowdy group nearly accidentally hitting pedestrians on several occasions. Local merchants observed the ruckus, and it wasn't long before officers were called to disperse the skaters from the unauthorized area. Apparently, this group of skaters had been causing problems all day around the city. One officer who would arrive, Officer Joey Williams, had previously kicked 21-year-old Matt McCormick out of skating in a parking garage somewhere else in the city earlier in the day. Needless to say, the policeman and his colleagues were becoming frustrated with these skateboarders. But frustrated as they may have been, the subsequent actions by police would prove to be quite controversial. Violence would ensue, with much of it being captured on video. Skaters saw it as police brutality. Police felt justified. Commence cops versus skateboarders.
It's like a yo-yo. Turn over. It's like a yo-yo. He's riding a Turn over on your belly now. What did it do? He was riding a skateboard.
He was riding a skateboard. You're in arrest too.
What the fuck, dude? Sir, she's riding a skateboard. What is wrong with you? She's riding a skateboard. Sir, what the fuck is wrong? Hey! Sir, it's okay. Get back. Okay, just, it's okay. I'm riding a skateboard. Get your arm behind your back. Oh, God,
Did you really need to almost break that guy's back over skateboarding?
As Officer Joey Williams was in the process of arresting one of the skateboarders, another skater took off running, and Joey went to chase. The skater gets away and the flustered officer returns, escalating the physicality of the altercation, grabbing a hold of a younger female skateboarder after she refused to sit down. This was 16-year-old Casey Canterbury, and the aggression showed towards the small teenager enraged the other skaters, further increasing the volatility of the scene. One skater leaps into action and tries to stop Joey Williams and his detainment effort. The attempt fails, and Williams then grabs both of them, placing them in what looked to be a chokehold of sorts. All of this, as you know, was obviously caught on camera by one of these skateboarding comrades, 21-year-old Matt McCormick to be specific. The result of the cops versus skateboarders brawl was several of the skateboarders that I named previously getting arrested. The arrestees
Of course it was.
included 16-year-old Robbie Brinkley, 21-year-old Matt McCormick, 13-year-old Gerard Graham, 19-year-old Skylar Knowles, and a few others as well, all booked for trespassing in the restricted area. Matt McCormick, the man responsible for filming the encounter, was also charged with battery, as he allegedly knocked down an elderly community service officer while trying to flee from the police incursion. Now,
Elderly
if this happened in
community
an age
service
before
officer.
internet video and YouTube, the cops versus skateboarders brawl would be nothing more than a bit of weekly news that was the talk of the town of Hot Springs for a few days. But this was 2007. Matt McCormick and his friends would make sure the entire world witnessed what they saw as an injustice. McCormick's Cops vs. Skateboarding video would be published to the internet, and the upload would subsequently go viral on the Toy Machine 16 YouTube channel.
Oh, yeah.
Published June 25th of 2007 and garnered over 300,000 views and thousands of comments in a matter of
fucking
days.
pigs.
The edited video purported to present a public case of police brutality and urged viewers to support skateboarders. Many in the comments section were furious about the officer's approach to the situation, and the city and police department were being hammered with condemnation as worldwide media outlets began to look into the incident, asking for interviews and preparing stories telling the details of the day. The frenzy surrounding the video resulted in Officer Joey Williams being put on administrative leave as an investigation into his actions were conducted. Seeing the popularity of the initial edited Cops vs. Skateboarders video, days later, a two-part uncut version of the video would also be uploaded to the Toy Machine 1 channel, showing more of the violent scuffle. Looking into the comments, it was clear that the public was still on the side of the skaters, even after seeing the full context. However, offline, within the local community of Hot Springs, and with the merchants that operated within the area of the confrontation who saw everything play out firsthand, They had a different perspective. In fact, almost all of the store owners sided with Officer Joey in this case. Store owners and merchants would go public to the media, claiming that the skateboarders were being erratic and unruly, and it was a tough situation to control. The video didn't fully convey the nature of the skateboarders' attitudes and that Joey was in the right. Yes, these local store owners felt like Joey Williams was in the right in the situation, and they detested the way that things were being handled by the media and internet mob. But the skateboarders argued that they were mindful of everyone around and that they had caused no such trouble mentioned by these merchants. As far as I can find, the only updates to this case were from both Skylar Knowles and McCormick, who would go on to plead no contest in July of 2007. As far as Officer Joey Williams, he would eventually be cleared of all charges, but he was, however, faulted for leaving a handcuffed suspect unattended. Other than that, though, everything seemed okay and the officer was able to report back to duty. As of 2023, the YouTube video Go Skateboarding Day, Cops vs. Skateboarders has accumulated over 3 million views. The first part of the uncut video has over 1 million views, and the second part also boasts over 800K. The videos are still receiving comments to this very day.
Mike
Many
Lombardo.
of you are familiar with the story of YouTuber Austin Jones, a once beloved heartthrob musician on YouTube sent to prison for inappropriate contact with underage fans. It's one of the highest profile YouTuber convictions in history.
513.
But what if I told you that Austin Jones jacked his criminal swagger from someone else? Yes, Mr. Jones isn't the first musically inclined YouTube creep jailed for inappropriate conduct with kids. Allow me to introduce you all to one of the first convicted YouTube CP possessors, Mike Lombardo. Born March 30th in 1988, Rome, New York, Mike Lombardo was a talented musician and songwriter who had apparently begun making music at the age of 2 years old. He would be trained in classical piano as well as jazz, and while in high school he picked up the guitar due to none of his peers being able to play while wanting to start a band. Therefore, he decided he would be a guitar player. Mike went on to obtain several awards thanks to his musical prowess, winning first place in the jazz category from the New York Songwriting Competition in 2008. In 2009, he would graduate a year early from Berklee College of Music, where he would earn a degree in songwriting. While in school, Mike would begin to upload his homework assignments to his YouTube channel called Mike Lombardo Music.
Alone together in a dark tour van on a cold night in St. Louis, Jason Monday turned to me and said, "Mike, you play songs on YouTube and you make announcements, but you should be funny. So stick this in your pipe and smoke it, Mr. Jason. No fun day."
Oh no.
In an old Reddit AMA, it would be stated that Lombardo being featured by fellow YouTube musician Michael Buckley is what got the ball rolling on his YouTube channel, kicking off his rise in terms of views and subscribers. As his YouTube channel began to gain traction thanks to his dedicated following, Mike would begin posting music videos, song tutorials, and personal vlog-style updates to his channel, which would accumulate around 20,000 subscribers at its peak.
Wow, this guy is taking his time. He's gonna lap you. He's gonna lap you. So 0.8 miles. We gotta go down. I'm sweating. I'm sweating right now. Oh shit. Son of a bitch. What is this? Why are there all these lights?
During the height of Michael's YouTube career, he would be signed to DFTBA Records, where he would release his LP, Songs for a New Day, and one EP, The Alchemist. Mike would also go on to tour and perform live shows for his fans.
I knew since I came awake that today was a special day. Yeah, it was. I left the office in a blur. She knows I'm coming home to her.
Sadly, though, despite the success of his career at this time, the end of Mike's career was nigh, as fans were about to learn the man had a criminal dark side of sorts. You see, Mike had developed a very young and influential fan base of children and teenagers that enjoyed his channel. And unfortunately, Mike was not the innocent nor responsible YouTuber that he had portrayed. In reality, Lombardo was taking advantage of the young girls that followed him online. allegedly grooming and inappropriately messaging multiple different minors according to court documents. It said at one point he set forth to have an actual physical encounter with a 15-year-old girl from Indiana, and this would lead to an investigation that the FBI would partake in, leading to Mike's downfall. This 15-year-old had met Lombardo multiple times at concerts in Pittsburgh and Cleveland in July of 2011. She'd also been allegedly sending Mike nudes since she was 14, as well as videos on Skype in which the YouTuber had reportedly asked her if she, quote, liked taking orders and requested her to strip and perform sexual acts. In December of 2011, the Indiana girl would travel with two of her friends, who were both 17 years old, to meet Mike Lombardo in Ellicottville, New York. FBI agents who had already been tipped off intercepted the young woman and interviewed all three, in which they revealed that he had sexually enticed them to send explicit photos and videos. They also revealed that in return they were sent sexually charged material from him. On December 30th of 2011, the FBI would raid Mike's home, where they would find a 51-second video of the teenager on his laptop in which she was naked and performing a sex act. There was also a text message exchange in which Lombardo would ask another 16-year-old girl to delete her photos and videos from her phone and computer. The girl would tell Mike that she would not do anything that would get him in trouble, and Mike would reply in a way that showed awareness that he was committing a crime. On February 16th of 2012, the website The Smoking Gun, which is a site committed to posting legal documents and mugshots, would publish that Mike Lombardo was being investigated for child pornography, as it was alleged he had interacted inappropriately with an underage fan and exchanged nudes with them. A few days after the article was published on the website, Lombardo's record company had removed his music from their website and disengaged all association with the musician, as they felt that it wouldn't be appropriate to keep an alleged pedo on their record label. On July 20th, 2012, a complaint was filed in the United States District Court for the Northern District of New York, alleging that there were 4 counts of CP-related crimes committed by Mike. Mike would be arrested several days later on July 25th of 2012, but was released on bond 5 days later. Mike was facing a maximum sentence of 20 years. This man would go on to admit to persuading 6 underage women into sending him explicit pictures and videos. On September 18th, 2013, it would be reported that 24-year-old Mike Lombardo had
not women, they're women now, but they were girls when he did it.
Taken a plea bargain and had pled guilty to one.
You know what women is? That's people over 18.
Count of receiving CP.
If you're under 18, you're a girl.
The plea bargain consisted of him forfeiting 3 laptops over to the authorities as well as his smartphone. In a pre-sentence report, Mike Lombardo had told probation officers that he understood that the women were hazardously affected by his actions. However, he would explain to them that they were very willing in their interactions and were allegedly thrilled to send him photos. Great excuse, Mike. They're literally minors. They can't fucking consent. On February 28, 2014, a judge decided that Lombardo would be sentenced to serve the minimum sentence of 5 years in prison, along with 5 years of probation after his release, and he was required to register.
Oh my
as
God,
sex
it's a
offender in the
Skinner's
state of New
dream.
York. Mike was released from prison on August 16th of 2018, and since this, I haven't been able to find any sort of activity from the guy online. But then again, I'm not surprised to find this. I mean, I think he's probably just trying to lay low and make sure that no one ever finds him because of what he was exposed for. Whatever the case, that was the story of Mike Lombardo. These days, it's not all too uncommon to hear about the operators of prank channels getting arrested. However, there's always a first for everything. Next, I'd like to cover one of the earliest and most frequently arrested pranksters to ever post to this website, Ross Creations. Reportedly born January 20th, 1994, the 30-year-old YouTuber Charles Ross from Tampa, Florida began his career on the platform back in 2008 when he created his channel. Ross would begin making prank and stunt videos and took advantage of the sort of absence of prank videos that were around at the time, as he was one of the progenitors of the genre. His pranks weren't very complex. Rather, his stuff usually involved him bothering unsuspecting people in public places. You know, the classic sort of YouTube prank style. Some examples of his content involve him placing slices of bread on top of sleeping beachgoers, dressing up in a military uniform, and screaming at random people. Is that all you got, maggot? Turn off the place! No break!
You keep running now!
Fucking with pawn shop owners and putting food in the pockets of unsuspecting shoppers, and of course the classic kiss on random strangers prank. His first encounter with the law would be in 2012 when Ross was only 18 years old. In this prank, he would film himself doing a backflip over 2 police officers who were sitting on a park bench. They weren't pleased with Ross's performance, and the officers tackled the YouTuber onto the ground and cuffed him, taking him to jail. The video would be uploaded to YouTube, which would go on to accumulate millions of views, and Ross would be charged with a misdemeanor for negligence. However, the charges would later be dropped after he completed an agreement in March of 2013 with the prosecutors in which he accepted to stay out of trouble for 3 months. He paid a $165 fine and completed some community service and pretty much threw it under the rug. Shortly after this legal problem, Ross was arrested again for giving unsuspecting people wedgies.
The idea was just to, like, give strangers wedgies. It sounds funny, but it's not once you're the one being given the wedgie.
Despite knowing that, Ross says he did it anyway because
This video is just to make people laugh.
Resulting in him getting a misdemeanor battery charge. Within that same year of 2013, in St. Petersburg, Ross had run onto the field of a Tampa Bay Rays game in which he attempted to dive onto second base. Ross was held in jail for 2 days and would eventually have to pay hundreds of dollars in fines. However, the adjudication of the charges were withheld due to an agreement that allowed Ross to accept responsibility for the act without a mark on his criminal record. In April of 2014, Ross would be arrested in Manatee County on 2 counts of battery after he had leapt onto a parade float and pushed a person onto the ground and elbowing another. These charges would later be dropped, and there's not a lot of detail on exactly why, but yeah, that happened. Now in 2017, Ross faced some serious consequences in Manatee County as he filmed a prank of him removing 2 stop signs from an intersection. This would result in him being arrested and charged with a felony. Ross would attempt to raise funds for legal fees online, but only got about 1.4K. However, Ross would luck out again, as prosecutors decided to insert him into a pretrial diversion program, which was a similar punishment to his first charge, as he only had to stay out of trouble for 18 months, complete 150 hours of community service, and pay a few small fines. Now, these pretrial agreements are usually meant to be given out only once, and they're for culprits who don't have an extended record, but it seemed like the prosecutors from this county ignored Ross's old record or just didn't care about it.
They don't care.
Therefore, he was allowed to go back to filming his pranks with barely a slap
Oh,
on the
wow.
wrist. That
They were
movie
just
would also
like,
be featured on Tosh.0
"Hey, just
for
let
a
me
Blood
out."
Redemption episode in which Tosh covered a few of his arrests, including the stop sign incident, stating that the only time that he really felt bad about what he did was when he had to call his mom from jail, but that remorse was overpowered by the need to collect more views and ride the clout wave all the way to the bank. Ross really never seemed to learn from his transgressions. On to the next crime. In what would be his 6th arrest in Florida, while filming a prank in Sarasota on April Fool's Day 2019, Ross donned an officer's uniform and began writing tickets to unsuspecting strangers.
God.
One of these victims was a woman with 2 kids in a Walmart parking lot. She was threatened by Ross with a parking violation, but the woman knew better and would later alert the real police about this impersonator. Reportedly, Ross would tell her that it was just a prank and then would turn away from her and walk back to his car, but would later drive back over to allegedly verbally harass her more. The woman would then record him doing this and would hand over the visual evidence to police. On April 3rd, 2019, Ross would be charged and arrested for 1 count of impersonating a police officer, which is a felony that could lead to a maximum sentence of 5 years in prison. This YouTuber would legally luck out again, receiving a plea deal involving him serving 6 months of probation and no felony, again squeaking by without a prison sentence. Within the last few years, Ross has made the move to doing short-form content like YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, and Facebook. Although he does still upload monthly videos onto his YouTube channels, he's not as active as he once was, and it appears his legal situations have been improving with him not being arrested in recent years. But that was the story of one of YouTube's earliest prankster arrests, Ross Creations. A somewhat recurring trend that I've seen over the years online are these videos with fast food employees getting in trouble for kitchen antics recorded and put on YouTube. You know, these videos with workers perpetrating some foul deed to the food, recording it, uploading it for laughs, and, well, they basically get fired or it becomes a national story where people avoid a certain restaurant for a while. Next, I'd like to share with you all the case that really started this trend, the original YouTube fast food viral fiasco. The story of the Domino's Defilers. In a Conover, North Carolina Domino's Pizza on April 13th of 2009, two employees, 31-year-old Christy Hammonds and 32-year-old Michael Setzer, were supposed to be busy with work in the Domino's kitchen, but the two decided to have a little bit of fun while their manager wasn't paying attention. And this Domino's debauchery would find its way onto YouTube. The story goes that Michael would fix several Domino's sub sandwiches while purposefully spoiling and defiling the food, sticking cheese up his nose, spraying mucus and snot rockets all over the sandwiches. It was a disgusting scene. All while doing this, Christy would record and cheer her coworker on as she filmed Michael participating in numerous health code violations. Christy is heard saying, quote, "That's right, come to our store, we'll give you a lot of love."
Come to our store, we'll give you a lot of love.
Now, as Michael boxes this disgusting sandwich up and slices it, Christy talks about in the video how the manager has no idea what they're doing. And Michael would set the boxed food on a tray, implying that it was about to be served to a customer.
Sprinkle them with sprinkles so they'll never know that there's snot on it. Booger bread. Our manager is unaware of what we are doing at the moment. She is back in the back, reading a newspaper, like always. While we're out here pounding around, putting snot in people's food. There we go.
Now, these recordings would later be uploaded to YouTube as a series of 5 videos, and to say that they went viral would be an understatement. By April 15th of 2009, just days after it had been filmed, altogether these videos accrued over 1 million views, and word would spread about this gross-out fast food fiasco all around the web. While many online found these videos hilarious, these online gawkers weren't directly affected by the contaminations that the Domino's Defilers perpetrated. Domino's, however, they were affected by it and weren't happy about it at all, and some online would share in Domino's disgust. On April 13th, as the videos first began to garner attention, commenters on the site consumerist.com would try to bust these defilers, conducting their own version of an internet sleuth-like investigation, finding clues within the videos, hoping to pick out distinct patterns or layouts that they could trace back to find the location of these defilers. You know, a tactic similar to what the 4chan guys did for Burger King foot lettuce. Now, while I'm unable to ascertain exactly how the fuck they did this, internet sleuths managed to narrow down the exact store where the crimes against pizza and subs took place. That, of course, being the one in Conover, North Carolina. Their suspicions would be turned over to a Domino's spokesperson, who would make great use of this information. The sleuths were correct in their speculation, and the store had been located. It was the Conover spot. As the video continued to collect views, the corporation would enact their vengeance on Setzer and Christy Hammonds. The two had been busted and were promptly questioned by Domino's. This troublemaking pair claimed that the defiled sandwiches were never delivered and that the videos were just a bit of fun, with them claiming that they never intended to serve any of the food that they fucked up. Domino's, of course, wasn't having this explanation, and they immediately fired both of them from their establishment on April 14th of 2009. The pizza giant would also bring in the health department, who would advise the company to discard all containers with food in them, which would end up costing them hundreds of dollars. The two fired Domino's employees would also be collected by police and authorities and were facing felony charges for contaminating food, which could cost them up to 4 months to a year in prison. At one point, both Michael and Christy were accosted by the media while trying to pick up their final paycheck.
A visiting Domino's executive quickly hands Hammonds her $352 paycheck.
Employees work. When they're done working, they're entitled to their check.
Do you feel like you deserve this money?
Oh, no comment about that right now.
Her former coworker, Michael Setzer, didn't want to talk either.
Do you want to defend yourself at all?
Not today.
In this moment, Christy gave a statement where she said that she was going to miss Domino's.
I'm gonna miss Domino's.
Damn, bitch, if you like the job so much, why were you fucking filming that stuff? When the story was going viral, Domino's initial strategy was to keep quiet about everything and hopefully the situation could be thrown under the rug. But it didn't go that way. Back in 2009, social media was still somewhat of a new thing and it was growing rapidly. Corporations and franchises were behind on how it worked and they didn't realize how powerful this viral video was. A Domino's spokesperson said, quote, "We got blindsided by two idiots with a video camera and an awful idea. Even people who've been with us as loyal customers for 10, 15, 20 years, people are second guessing their relationship with Domino's and that's not fair." Mentions in the case in online blogs would drive people away from the restaurant. Dedicated customers were rethinking their relationship with the pizza chain. And these losses made Domino's consider a civil lawsuit. And Domino's was completely embarrassed, their brand tarnished by two goofballs on YouTube. Sales of the Domino's franchise in the Conover area dropped 50%. Domino's would claim to step up their procedures and practices within their franchises, resulting in 600 employees being fired across the nation. I guess these guys not being up to snuff. Though fortunately for Domino's, the public is quick to forget, and after about 6 months, nobody really even remembered the Domino's defilers. In the wake of this situation, Christy would write an apologetic email to Domino's. Christy said, quote, "It was fake and I wish that everyone knew that. I am so sorry." In addition to Christy, there was some other information about her that got brought to the surface. In a report published in April of 2009, it was confirmed that Christy Hammonds was a registered sex offender and had an extensive
Christy Hammonds is a sex offender?
Charged with 3 counts of statutory rape against a 14-year-old girl and pled guilty in
14-year-old
2008
girl.
to misdemeanor sexual battery. Anyways, the Domino's Defilers video would eventually be removed from YouTube due to a copyright claim, and the legacy of this incident has now been mostly lost to time. In regard to the charges that these individuals faced from the Domino's incident, on March 9th of 2010, Michael Setzer entered an Alford plea, which basically meant that he pled guilty but didn't admit to guilt even though evidence may have shown he was at fault. He basically did no contest. The man was sentenced to serve 6 months in prison and 2 years of supervised probation. He was forced to pay $1,000 in court fees and cannot interact with Christie or any Domino's establishment. Michael would tell the court through his lawyers that it was a childish and stupid thing to do. And although the food was never sent out, making a video was probably a bad idea. On November 19th of 2010, Christie pled guilty and her sentence was reduced to a 45-day suspended sentence, 18 months probation, and 200 hours of community service. She had to pay attorney fees of $1,125 and was prohibited from working at any establishment that sold food or drinks. She was also ordered not to talk about the case publicly. In the Wild Wild West early days of the web, folks never really stopped to think about what they were uploading. This extended to the realm of YouTube as well, with many foolishly uploading videos of themselves committing crimes. Our next story details one of the first such instances of this YouTube self-incrimination. It's the case of a graffiti bandit known online as Bucket. In his early 20s, Cyrus Yazdani was a graduate from San Jose University where he acquired a degree in arts and apparently worked as a convention planner in Las Vegas. But Cyrus had an alter ego that few knew about that was becoming famous around the world and on the internet. You see, Cyrus also went by the name Bucket and was one of the most prolific graffiti taggers in the Los Angeles area during the early stages of YouTube in 2007. He had begun to make waves online, posting videos of his artistic escapades, and was part of a graffiti crew known as TKO, which stood for True Kings Only. Cyrus had been described as what street artists would call a bomber, which is a street artist that tends to place quantity over quality, covering as much of the city as they can with their tags. The idea being the more attention the better, but this tactic would get Bucket in trouble quite a few times, as he would be arrested in San Jose and Long Beach by authorities thanks to these spray painting ventures. But this didn't stop him as he continued to tear up Vegas, his tagging videos going viral online. These videos would showcase his daredevil-like achievements and risky tags, with him often being on bridges or precarious overpasses. And while he got a lot of attention for these videos, he would get some unwanted attention from law enforcement as well, who saw him as a menace. One of his most dangerous tagging feats was caught on camera in late 2007, involving him climbing onto an overpass right above the Hollywood freeway and tagging what appeared to be his famous online alter ego, Bucket, right onto the side of the overpass while precariously hanging off the bridge. But needless to say, this was some high-quality content for 2007 YouTube. Another viral incident involves Cyrus marking a transportation authority bus while onlookers and riders watched in disbelief. Along with that, there were numerous other clips of Cyrus running and gunning throughout the city, tagging anything that he possibly could with his spray paint canisters. However, as the videos went viral, so did Bucket's reputation with police, and the popularity of his content attracted the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department. They wanted this tagger in cuffs. Police were able to trace the Bucket tags graffitied back to many other incidents in which the same art piece was tagged on different locations across the state of California and southern Nevada. He would spray paint walls, transit buses, so on and so forth. It wouldn't be long before officers would come knocking and arrest Cyrus in 2008, after which he would plead guilty to 32 counts of felony vandalism and was sentenced to serve 10 months in county jail and 256 hours of graffiti removal duty. But after getting off of probation, Cyrus went right back to breaking the law, tagging his favorite spots with his Bucket tags. New locales included a dry portion of the Los Angeles River Channel, which was a haven for many graffiti artists. Bucket, aka Cyrus, would be arrested again in May of 2009. He would plead no contest in July to 1 count of felony vandalism and had to agree to pay a whopping $117,196 restitution fine. And on top of that, he would be sentenced to serve 3 years and 8 months in a California state prison. And that was the end of his tagging spree. Now this footnote here is some alleged information, as I can't 100% confirm it, but after prison, apparently Cyrus was able to turn his life around. It's said that he became a real estate agent sometime in 2013. This LinkedIn account matches Cyrus's education history, stating that he went to San Jose University from 2002 to 2006 with a degree in graphic design. Also, the pictures on his Zillow and his mugshot look pretty similar. In the comments of one of Bucket's highlight videos, there's some debate on whether it's him or not. And that was my telling of some of the obscure first crimes committed by YouTubers. Let me know what you guys thought about this video down below in the comment section.
Fucking
and let me know
Stonga.
who or what you
Or
want
whatever
to
that
talk
was.
about next.
Stundaga.
I want to give a major shout out to my patrons. I appreciate you guys. Wavy Web Surf out. Peace.
Judge has ordered the release of the identities of dozens of people mentioned in
Oh no. No. No, no. No, no, no. No, no, no. Ooh, scale shield of Fiery Wrath is gonna vendor well. Ooh, that chest is an upgrade, I think. No, 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 it's not. Unfortunate. Ah! Nothing landed. Nothing. So annoying. My Sunfire, this guy's trying to tell me how bad Sunfire is. Sunfire just killed that lock while I was in the fear. I don't know about that. Die, you. This is so annoying. Die. Ah, his dot. His dot. Oh god, I live with 1 health. I forgot he had a dot on me. I totally spaced it. Yeah, I don't know why you keep coming back here. I don't know. Don't come back here or whatever. Kick your fucking ass. I don't know. Sunfire sucks, but boy, it burned that guy out while I was in the fear. I'll tell you that. I don't know if Mangle would have done that. I mean, Mangle would have done that, yeah, but...
Court documents related to convicted pedophile Jeffrey Epstein.
The papers could reveal more than 150 people who were associated with Epstein.
Epstein was an operator. Even if you take the absolute minimalist view of what Epstein could have been up to, I mean, he was a crook through and through.
How many other people has this happened to? How many other stories are sitting in a vault, in an ABC News or an NBC News vault, of powerful people that they wanted to preserve their relationship with?
I bet I got more achievement points than that guy. I guarantee it.
On the morning of December 5th, 2010, Woody Allen was photographed here with his wife and stepdaughter, leaving the Upper East Side mansion of New York financier and at that point recently convicted pedophile Jeffrey Edward Epstein. Over a decade ago, I doubt the average American had even heard the name Jeffrey Epstein.
I don't want to watch this. I'm terribly sorry. You seem to really want to force it on me. I don't want it. Yeah, I know the whole story of Nazi drug abuse. I'm very aware. Let's go back. That poor nerd. His min-max personality has reduced his fun to 0. And I feel bad for him. One day when he looks down at his crotch, there's a calculator down there. Yeah, kill this thing. Yeah, kill that thing. I want to shoot it. Shoot that thing. Fuck that thing. Yeah, fuck that thing. Ah, I'm being hurt by an elemental. Oh, no. Oh, God, get on the elemental. Oh, thank God that I didn't fail. Why is there a skeleton here, too? Oh, no. Well, I have health points, which is good. Yep, and then, yeah, get on this thing. Yeah, kill that thing. I'm gonna smack it for you for a second, just to make it faster. Yeah, like that. And then leave. He still won't like the tiger at all. And I'll have to come back fairly soon, but it's fine. Okay, back to what I was doing. Oh yeah, are we looking at me? Oh no, did I stealth right as you were casting? Yeah, I did. Oh. Okay. Thank you. Stealth by accident as that guy was casting on me. That's so funny. Probably frustrated him so bad. I was just standing there like open targets, so he thought about it for a bit. He was like, fuck, and then I just came back. Oh no, the elemental. No, get on him. Oh. Okay, let's get some buffs up and away from the Blizzaga. Let's get away from it. Ain't no nerd trying to tell me how to spec. Ain't no nerd trying to tell me how to spec. Look down at his crotch one day and there's a calculator. There's no fun left, only min-max. Nazi min-max, Nazi min-max. Being bad at MMOs it's weird to suck at it's weird to suck at World of Warcraft. Oh yeah, well I'm not in a party with you, am I? Oh, does it matter? Sure seem to really need to tell me. You seem to really need to tell me. It's like, woo! Nerds with no social grace. Nerds with no social grace. Trying to tell me how to spec. I'm just standing there DPSing, minding my own fucking business. Out of left field comes dude who I buffed. That's our only current exchange, is I buffed him. That's it. I cast the buffs on him. And he tells me that my spec is garbage. And I'm like, oh boy. Imagine checking the fucking DPS meter past the year 2010. And I think it rubbed him the wrong way. And I hope it did. Because it is depressing. If you're talking about a fucking DPS meter in 2023, ooh, ouch, buddy. Your life's already done to you. What needed to be done to you. And I don't need to feel bad for you, or... I mean, I have some pity, but it's like, yeah, if you care about that in 2023, I'm sorry. Oof. Like, oof. Like, real oof. Like, seriously, like, social media worthy oof. You know, it's like, oof. Yeah. How many strangers do we lecture about their spec? Is it a lot? Am I in the presence of the king of lecturing strangers about their spec? Should I bow before thee, Mr. King of lecturing strangers about specs? It's like, Jesus Christ, man. I'm not the one playing a paladin. Oh! Paladin talking to me, trying to tell me how to live. You're playing a fucking paladin, a born loser class for cheaters who like God mode, and you're talking to me about fucking specs. I'm sorry, you straight up spec'd your character wrong when you rolled it. I'll tell you that. You straight up, at least I didn't spec my character wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like you. Oh, dis. I love fucking trolling nerds on my stream who can't hear me, or if they can, I don't care. You know, it's like, it's kind of funny. It's my stream, I can do that. It's my fucking business. It's my fucking business. So now, let's see. If I had just followed that nerd's advice, I never would have fucking ever used Sunfire, right? Now what? I mean, it's a rune. It's a good rune. It's a rune. Why wouldn't I use it? It's fine. Am I in a DPS race to level 40? I could give two shits about a fucking DPS race in 2023. I am 41 years old. Many moons, many women, many relationships, many jobs have passed since it was pertinent or worthy or valuable to care about WoW Classic DP fucking S. It's been a good 15 years. 15 years. How long do we have to go before you understand that? Oh, there's two of them. I really want to kill them. They're lower than me. I really want to fucking savage these guys. I'm going to. The shaman's low. I'm going to murder his ass. Here it comes. You guys ready? Here it goes. 90. Oh. Whore getting bullied by alliance over her. Yeah, my spec's so bad that I, you know, yeah, my spec's so fucking bad, yeah. Pally talking to me, trying to tell me how to live. Da 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 da. You don't think about your own life choices of rolling a paladin. Da 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 da. Don't give two shits about DPS past 2010. Da 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 da. Not the kind of loser, and I've never fucking been. Da 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 da. Pally talking to me, trying to tell me how to live. Da 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 da. Nope. Go suck on your godmo bubble and fuck yourself, my friend. I'm just kidding. No, that guy was awesome. He was awesome. He was trying to help me. I don't mean what I just said. I really don't, actually. He was a nice guy. No issue with him. You know, he was cool. I'm not trying to talk that kind of shit. He was a cool guy. I'm just trying to, like, fucking tell him how I feel about somebody telling me how to, like, okay. How long have you been playing WoW? 20 fucking years. Has it ever gone well for you when you tell somebody their spec is bad? Has that ever been like a conversation that led to like a friendship place where you're both dancing down the road, like throwing daisies and holding each other's hands and all this? Now what's this now? Did we get hurt? Did we get hurt? Yeah, no, I'm gonna help you. Yeah, I'll help you. Yeah. Oh yeah, I'll help you. I am a healer. Actually, I don't want it. I just want a hot. Horde trying to run from me, but they know they fucking can't. Cause I've got a cheetah and a sunfire that Pally doesn't like. Horde running from me, but they know they fucking can't. No matter what the fuck, I'm gonna land my sunfire. If I was spec, fucking, what's it called? If I was spec, you know, I've already forgotten what it is. If I was spec Mango, could I have killed those two Horde? No. They would have gotten away in full healed and murdered me. Yes. Oh, you acting up, huh? You acting up? Oh. Okay, I gotta go help this guy, I guess. Yeah, I gotta go help this priest. Yeah, go get him. Da. Oh my god, is he getting away? He is. I dropped combat. I mean, why am I in combat? It's so annoying. Kill this thing. Kill it. I'm out of mana. So annoying. I'm out of mana. I'm out of mana. Oh, am I dying? No, I'm not dying, no. Belly talking to me, trying to tell me how to spec. That's like literally what it feels like, fascism, when it talks to you. You can tell that it would probably approve of a fascist dictatorship, you know? You could just tell the fascist when it's talking to you. It's like, oh man, this guy's a complete law and order dude. He completely believes in the system and all the laws and his anal rules and his specs and his world of logs. Even in 2024. And it's like, nah, been 14 years. 14 years since that was last actually pertinent. 14 years. 14 years. People are playing Power World instead of caring about WoW. And you know it and I know it. And talking about a spec outside of a raid is like kind of silly in 2024. Especially since I ran one raid in the last 9 years. one raid in the last 9 years. Don't give a flying fuck. Not everyone's like you. You look down at your crotch one day and there's a calculator. You poor anal nerd. I love making fun of anal nerds and their calculator crotches. You know that they've got a tallywhacker down there looking like a TI-83. And you gotta love that aspect of them where they're like, technically the numbers support my opinion or some such. And it's like, yeah, sure, don't give a flying fuck. And they're like, what? Yeah, don't give a flying fuck. I didn't want to insult the guy. I didn't insult him or, you know, say anything negative to him or anything at all. I was just like, you know, yeah, this pushy conversation where you kind of fascist dictate about my spec is not impressing me about you. This whole conversation, while pleasant and informative, was also sort of like telling about your social skills and such. And I like that you offered it help, and I appreciate that. You know, I said to him, I was like, I value this conversation. You try to help me, thank you. You know? But no, my spec doesn't matter. It's WoW in 2024. There are more viewers on Lego Fortnite than World of Warcraft. You know what I'm saying? This is not like, you know, there's 11,000 viewers on WoW. I know because I'm in a WoW channel right now. There's 11,000 viewers on WoW right now on a Thursday, or is it a Thursday? No, it's a Friday night now. But like, yeah, like, or is it Friday? Is it Friday or Thursday? It's Friday now, isn't it? Yeah, it's Friday now. So it's Friday night, but da-na-na, da-na-na, da-da-da. Da-na-na, da-na-na, da-da-da. Badly talking to me, trying to tell me how to live. Da-da-na, da-na-na, da-da-da. I'm sorry, I'll stop. It's like, that's kind of like what it reminds me of, man. I know that's a boomer fucking reference and a dumb song and or whatever. But I just, Jesus, man, it's been so, like, fucking buzzard's guts, man. It's been so long since I gave two shits about such things. It's been so long. I'm talking so long. Please, somehow, don't let this druid get away from me. Please, let me catch him. I'm just gonna entangle him if I have to. He's standing out here where he thinks he's safe. He's not. Shwachwak! I'm going to eat you. Die! Yep, you're dead now. Bye. Mine. Blood red banner is on the ground. Oh, what's this? Oh. Yeah, I'm coming right at you, bitch. You're not ready for me. Oh. You're going in the cave, are you? I'm waiting until you pull a mob. He didn't see me. This guy did not see me. He is such an idiot. Please pull something. I'm going to waste you if you do. Oh my god, I want this guy. Hurry up. I'm going to drop in on him. The fall damage. Will it break? It'll break me out of stealth, though. I could just open on him if it breaks me out of stealth, I suppose, if I could land on his head. Yeah, like that. Yeah, I want you to pull a mob. No. Come on. Yes. Yes. That's right. Whack. I got him too. I was like, nope. Gotta break the stealth. We be murdering horde up in her. Mum's basement is indeed Mum's basemented. He's Mum's based. Now I have two mobs for some reason. Great. Let's just take preemptive, preemptive thing here. Oh god, please. Go, go. Nope, I want a healing touch. Big one. Are you certain? Are you certain? Are you certain of this? Boy, when I'm leveling, I really like having ranged, I gotta say. This guy, he got up? Yeah, he did. He got up. Where'd he go? Did they spirit res? This warlock's got his ass kicked like 4 times, and he's like, fuck this. Yeah, I don't really blame you, buddy. I need 4 mountain lions, but I'm done in here. I'm done with this place. I can leave. Am I aggroed? I am. What happened here? I have something on me, do I? No, no. No, I don't. Oh, it's dark. It's dark. Go get the elemental. Yeah, get the elemental. Yay for elemental. Am I stealth? I better be stealth. Am I stealth? Yes, I am. That's a rogue on a mob. Yeah. I'm just gonna, like, stealthily leave this place, yeah? But I want you to get on the elemental. Go, 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 go. Just get on this elemental. I don't really care. I'm gonna buff and sit down. If you kill my tiger, you kill my tiger, but whatever. I don't really want to die to an elemental. This one I got like 7 horror kills or something like that. One of the things I really love is for many years, I used to be like, I've got a more achievement score than you. And I was right. Probably not anymore. But it was like that for like 13 years or something. And like every time I had an argument with some nerd like this, I'd kind of whisper at the end of it. I'd be like, I bet I got a higher achievement score than you. And I always did. I always did. Even the people who really thought they were better, I've always got a higher achievement score. It's funny. I've just done the game longer than you, trust me. Thousands of hours, many hundreds of days. I mean, I've been doing this game a long, long time. Someone killed me or something, and I lost my buff, which is so annoying. Guess I've got to go kill mountain cats. Yeah, syndicate thieves and mountain lions. Fighting with boomers, fighting with boomers. I didn't fight with that guy. I did pretty well. I kept this, you know, civil. I'm just like, don't tell me how to spec. I don't tell you how to play Paladin. I can't even say it with a straight face. Fucking Paladin. You play Paladin. Not listening to a paladin ever. Pfft. Everything missed. Everything. Oh, damn it. My entire opening, all three of them missed. It's so annoying. Need more hulking mountain lion, but I don't know where else they spawn. Maybe I'll just do Syndicate for a while. Looks like they pop here. So. Oh yeah, is something going on? Am I being attacked or whatever? No, come back now. Silly tiger. Did you come back? I told you to heal, damn it. Come back here. Yep. And then, I want to heal you. And I want you to get back on the elemental. Yeah. Sleep god. 60 seconds. Son of a birch. Rust Mobile just got worse, oh no. We're gonna rag on AAA now. AAA is suck stick. Yeah.
Right. Today's video is, how do I put this down?
As I played 3
Commentary
AAA games.
on the state of AAA video games. Now, to properly discuss that, we need to focus on Skull and Bones, because I'm not sure if there's ever actually been a more flagrant example of just how far this industry has fallen. Let's get this out of the way right now. Skull and Bones is an objectively bad product. You can certainly like an objectively bad game, it happens all the time, but in order for this video to make any sort of sense, we have to tackle things from a shared perspective, which basically requires that we acknowledge the game as an abject conceptual failure. If you disagree? Fine, type it all out in the comments, you probably already started for that matter, but that's okay. It was basically essential for this to be stated at the onset so we can tackle the subject with a shared understanding. So why do I feel the need to make this video? Games come out all the time, some of them are good, others bad, life goes on. What makes this one special, why is it worth discussing, and what can we possibly learn from it in the broader context of AAA video games? Here's why. Skull and Bones is a $200 million project worked on by hundreds and hundreds of people, paid for by the government of Singapore through subsidies, that took over 10 years to make and is distinctly inferior to the game it was technically inspired by, which came out in 2013. That's a lot, I know, so let's go step by step. In 2017, news began to rapidly spread that Ubisoft Singapore, that's important for later, would be making a standalone game based on the success of Assassin's Creed Black Flag. Sounds good, right? Of course it does. There's a massive hole in the market right now, even more so back then, because no one is actually making good pirate games, and even the ones we do have are incredibly stylized or cartoonish. Ubisoft had a gem here with basically everything teed up for them perfectly. Well, flash forward during 2020, 3 years after the original hype cycle, and 7 years after the game initially entered development as a multiplayer expansion for Black Flag, and Ubisoft let all of their trademarks expire for Skull and Bones, including merchandise, digital software, certain logos, etc. At that time, I wondered if the game would ever actually come out at all, because it looked more like the studio was shoving it under the rug to just announce cancellation at a later date, trying to get some distance maybe, but at that particular moment I also didn't have all the facts. Not long after, in 2021, we got more information from a Kotaku article, courtesy of Ethan Gosh, where it was revealed that the game would eventually come out because, quote, a deal with the Singapore government requires it. In addition to hiring a certain number of people at its Singapore studio in exchange for generous subsidies, they said Ubisoft Singapore must also launch original brand new IPs in the next few years, end quote. A lot of people already know that, or learned it over the past couple of years, but that's not insignificant. If a national government gives you money for a specific purpose, and you spend that money over the course of basically a decade, you kinda have to hold up your end of the deal. especially if you have an entire office in that country with hundreds of employees and very easy accessibility for the business to be held accountable should you find yourself in breach of said contract. Basically, Ubisoft made a deal they couldn't actually break without very severe consequences. 1 year later, in 2022, Kotaku senior writer Ethan Gosch elaborated on social media saying, quote, "Was told there was supposed to be a closed test this month but was cancelled due to the state of the build. It's coming either way though due to existing government subsidy agreement. The Singapore government subsidizes Ubisoft Studio there for hiring and training new devs, similar to companies' arrangements in Canada. But it also requires the studio to launch an original new IP, and it's been running out of time." End quote. Also very interesting to me that they have a similar arrangement in Canada, so Ubisoft is just raking in the government money for mediocre products. This further reiterates the fact that Skull and Bones was effectively commissioned by the Singapore government in return for significant funding to Ubisoft, which is a publicly traded company. And also, come hell or high water, the game would eventually come out regardless of what condition it was actually in. As you can see, this is not a great showcase of the state of AAA gaming right now. Interestingly, in my review for Skull and Bones, I said it felt like a stitched-together homunculus of unrelated concepts, succeeding in very little aside from its ability to elicit confusion. And if you read the employee feedback on Glassdoor for Ubisoft Singapore, you can see things like this. Quote, "Stubborn directors that don't listen to developer feedback, conflicting instructions and opinions from different studios affecting project direction and progress." End quote. Or how about this one? 1 star. "No direction. Management has no clue what they are doing." That sentiment is echoed all over gaming media, but we need to remember here that even in 2021, according to Kotaku at least, Ubisoft was $120 million in the hole on this one. Flash forward 3 more years, and they were reportedly crossing the $200 million mark, reported by sources of Insider Gaming in that case, which meant that Ubisoft was locked in a government contract producing a brand new first-party video game that had been delayed 6 times publicly over the course of roughly 10 years. Still, if that was everything, we could probably chalk it up as an unfortunate case of they bit off more than they could chew, or something like that, which does happen. Sadly, that's not all there is, because archived by VGC in the 3rd quarter fiscal year 2024 earnings call, CEO of Ubisoft, Yves Guillemot, decided to answer a question about Skull and Bones, and his answer is just fucking incredible. Again,
thank you, Upper Echelon, for the excellent content from a stream. I've liked and subbed to your channel. I like this guy. I forgot about him. He's good.
Well, we already heard this, but I don't know. I have to read it directly here to preserve the atmosphere of what this answer genuinely sounds like. Quote, "You will see that Skull and Bones is a fully fledged game. It's a very big game, and we feel that people will really see how vast and complete the game is. It's a really full, triple, quadruple A game that will deliver in the long run." End quote. Now, I don't know about you, but that does not sound like a genuine answer to me. In my opinion, that sounds like a con man saying, "This potion is definitely not snake oil. It's full of very real oil that will completely cure whatever ails you." 3-star, no, 4-star oil, the best oil. Everyone will see how great this oil is once they buy it. Think about that. A game that is objectively worse, you can disagree on that, but you are wrong if you do. A game objectively worse than the title it was inspired by over 10 years ago, after facing 6 public delays and only coming out because Ubisoft accepted a bunch of subsidies from the Singapore government and had to launch it, no choice, is being called quadruple A quality. That is the state of AAA gaming. It's not even AAA. One of the worst products in years is supposed to be beyond AAA. It cost them $200 million to make, but you simply cannot see where any of that money got spent. If you look at a game like Baldur's Gate 3, which got made with a smaller team, by the way, than Skull and Bones, on a budget significantly lower on top of that, you can see the vision and kind of feel the quality. Skull and Bones? I'm actually lost for words on how to describe just how empty the game actually is when you look at it through the lens of 10 years, 200 million, and quadruple A quality. Go back and look at some of the trailers and the marketing material for this game from like 6 or 7 years ago. It's unrecognizable. Ubisoft spent thousands of days raking in the subsidies and consistently making the product worse over time when you compare it to the initial hype cycle they cultivated at E3 in 2017 and 2018, when the marketing cycles were at their absolute apex peak, in my opinion. Only to then release a product for $70 that could never deserve that price point. while the CEO calls it Quad A. I don't think there could possibly be a better example of corporate failure, mismanagement, and bad practices. As if purpose-built for me to make my case here, this comes directly on the heels of Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League immediately prior, which is a live service game from Rocksteady that looks objectively worse than a game that came out 9 years before it. The funny thing is, I was being led to believe, I guess, visuals have improved dramatically over the past decade, with better hardware, better game engines, etc., but live service AAA products right now simply do not demonstrate that premise at all, even so far as to look downright bad compared to the games that came before them. I mean, not even just visual fidelity, but mechanically speaking, look at this and then tell me that a $200 million game with a decade-long development cycle where literally none of this is possible, mechanically speaking, is a quadruple A experience worth $70. Even accounting for inflation, that just doesn't track. Also, preemptively here, back in 2014 when Black Flag was being evaluated, sales were actually viewed as lackluster by investment companies. Surprise, surprise. But according to Motley Fool, the game cost roughly $100 million in terms of total development. That's half as much as Skull and Bones. This game costs 2 times as much, has less gameplay features by a mile, and took 10 years. It is described as quadruple A by the company's CEO, and this game right here cost half the amount and took 3
Welcome
years.
to my inn,
It got
weary
started in
traveler. What can I do
2011,
for you?
then officially announced and released in 2013. Honestly, there's not much more to say here. We've all felt it for a while, and there's no shortage of people saying it online. I'm just another voice in the horde of voices out there. But AAA video games have gone very far downhill over the past few years, or more so, 10 years, ironically, considering the development timeline for Skull and Bones. These games aren't being made for the player base. They're being made, in the case of Skull and Bones at least, because a profit-motivated company intent on pleasing shareholders had a contract with a government allowing them to get undeserved subsidies in order to pay workers and open a studio. So they made something objectively worse than what it's inspired by from 10 years ago. And then they gaslit everyone by saying it wasn't just AAA.
But they all
it
say
was
the same
better
thing.
than AAA. Normally this would feel like shouting the obvious thing from the rooftop for no reason, but this time it kind of feels like a tipping point. Yeah, some of the fanboys will still delude themselves into thinking this is all fine, but I can't help but feel like this...
You know, I got Black Flag. I might play Black Flag. It's a superior game.
has gotten so obvious lately and so egregious that
I don't
the
like
profit levers
Assassin's
will
Creed,
actually
but I
start
have
to
Black
move.
Flag if I ever
Example
want
that
it.
everyone should be happy about, I think, at least in my opinion. There are now more people playing Arkham Knight, a game from 9 years ago made by Rocksteady, same developers of Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, by a pretty hefty margin than there are
Batman
playing
Arkham
Suicide
Knight?
Squad on Steam. That's a live service AAA game from a couple weeks ago, designed to capture players for an extended period of time. That's the entire business model. Being outperformed significantly by a 9-year-old single-player experience from the same company
no water god for
because
you.
it's a better game. That's hard to ignore, and it's probably going to happen here again with Assassin's Creed Black Flag and Skull and Bones. Anyway, the point here is to showcase the ridiculous state of AAA gaming, which has been sliding downwards for what feels like the better part of 5 to 7, maybe even 10 years.
Yeah, it's
I hope
8
that
years.
changes.
It's 8
It
years
kind of
since
feels
2015.
Like it might change.
When WoW died in 2015, it was just over. All the AAA was like done making good games or trying making experiments or taking risks or anything like that. Everything, even Elden Ring, is still essentially Dark Souls 1 with a nice world now, like a nice open world. It's just Dark Souls open world. That's all it is. There's no difference between Dark Souls 1 and Elden Ring really at all. There's almost none. Even the same weapon system, everything. It's just an upgraded version of Dark Souls 1. It's not as unique as Dark Souls 1. It's definitely more one and the same. But it's definitely Dark Souls 1. And, like, you know, Elden Ring is supposedly one of, if not the best games made. And I think it's right that Disco Elysium does better. Because Disco Elysium wasn't afraid to break the mold and do experimental things. And, oh my god, he straight water god wasted me. I can't believe that. 235 was enough to get me down. Congratulations, Itemu. We were one hit from being done with him. And I hugged the god when I had 200 health. And I got what was coming to me. At least I didn't D-level. I'm up a lot better than I was before, which is good. I'm low on tigers, so I mean, coming here isn't the worst thing. We're just gonna keep cycling shadow clusters and you know, hopefully we'll get money. That's a bot making fucking potions right now. Can you hear it go on for just, you know, ever? Just ever. He's like crafting potions and sitting there on a trade skill manager trying to like completely destroy the economy. You can hear him doing it. Makes me so annoying. It's such an annoying sound to me. Fucking bot just making fucking money. It's destroying the economy right there in the background. We can hear him doing it. Why can't Blizzard stop this shit? Wait, there it is. No, he was a human. Never mind, he's a human. He was just a human doing a big batch. Never mind, I'm wrong. Because it sounded like a bot. Yeah, I think we were all kind of saying, like, is this a bot? Because he's been brewing for fucking 15 minutes or something dumb. Yeah, that's it, except now I need to stack a tiger. Tiger! Oh, no, I went to the wrong place. Got to go to weapons. Ammo and miscellaneous pet items of the meat broth variety. 9,000. I think that's cheaper than usual. That's good. 9 grand, not bad. Now we go back out. Back out. This video is good, but it seems regurgitated.
But we'll see. If you want to support the channel, please check out the links down below. Bunch of different things, but primarily locals and Patreon. Those are the main ones.
It's like somebody up at OTK writes some kind of fucking opinion, and then they all just spew it, and they all copy it, and they all make the meta. And then, like, they use ChatGPT to write these scripts to just spew out the fucking Twitter or Reddit meta. And where the cutting edge of the internet's, like, you know, agreements are, or whatever. And it sounds like regurgitation to me. It's annoying. It's the same person saying the same thing in a different video. It's the same video that we watched, the other video that we watched about this today. It's the same shit, just regurgitated, and it's kind of funny. The same problems that he's bitching about, the pathetic state of AAA gaming, he himself is guilty of making YouTube worse. And it's a sad reality, but it's true. The same guy hitting them for the state of AAA gaming is also destroying YouTube with his regurgitation. There's nothing original about this video at all. Not anything at all. I watched the same video earlier today, but it was better and longer and just was like initial. It was like the initial juicy goodness, you know, pathetic state of AAA gaming and skill ups like appraisal of, you know, fucking Skull and Bones and yeah. I am here to get Signet. I guess that's it. Yeah, I think so. Signet.
Merchandise, etc., but I'll cut it there and stop rambling. As always, thank you all for watching, question everything, and have a nice day.
And now they're all going to do baffling mediocrity, and all this about Skull and Bones. Industry of lies, right? Paranoia.com, an internet mystery. Oh god, take me to this place here. Yeah, take me out of here, so I don't want to hear that all day. Just take me out. Oh yeah, Helldivers 2 is on the PlayStation and it's good. Madam Web review, I'd rather eat my own foot. Oh god. Here's Moist.
Best stories ever told are the one.
Critical. I'm gonna. This is from 13 days ago. I'm gonna like and sub to your channel. Thank you so much.
Ones that have the satisfying conclusion of the good guys winning in the end against evil, overcoming insurmountable odds to snatch victory from the jaws of defeat in a miraculous triumph. But we don't live in those stories, we live in cringe, so that's not what is here in reality. A haunting reminder of that fact is what just happened with Friendly
hauntingly
Jordies.
true.
Friendly Jordies is an Australian YouTuber whom I've covered on the channel multiple times. I truly believe he is one of the best investigative journalists in the world, period. With no exaggeration, he risks his life to serve the community and inform them of corruption that it's gone unchecked, and his reward for this is his house being firebombed and his life being threatened multiple times. And these aren't the kind of death threats that you see all the time on Twitter where a 13-year-old anime fan gets upset if you say you don't like something about their favorite show. These are death threats from an organized group of criminals with a very scary history and a track record of already trying to murder Jordan Shanks, Friendly Jordies. They fucking firebombed his house. Well, actually, they firebombed his neighbor's house because the absolute goobers got it wrong the first time and then came back to try and finish the job by firebombing his actual residence. So they have already tried to take his life before. That's some shit that you only see in, like, espionage, blockbuster Hollywood films, and yet Friendly Jordies is living through it right now because New South Wales is so unbelievably corrupt that it's just... it's festering in the public eye. And yet the authorities that are supposed to protect and look out for the public safety are just closing their eyes and plugging their ears to all of this unfolding in front of them. It's despicable. It seems New South Wales is more corrupt than Gotham at this point. Friendly Jordies yesterday posted a video where he had to publicly admit defeat at the hands of this corruption, unfortunately.
You might have noticed that we haven't been releasing videos after the police arrested a suspect for the firebombing of my house. While we're very grateful for their persistence throughout this ordeal, we felt it would be prudent to see what the response would be from certain individuals.
If you haven't kept up with the lore here, I'll give you the previously on Dragon Ball Z recap. They did finally make an arrest on one of the suspects responsible for the firebombing of his house. It took about a year, but better late than never. Rather be tardy to the party than not show up at all. At least it's seeming like crime won't pay. They won't get away with this, right? Wrong! Idiot! Stupid! Can you stop sipping on your moron potion for a second? Put the stupid juice down? Of course the criminals are gonna get away with it, because I guess that's just the way things go in New South Wales. At least when it comes to criminals of this caliber. The very powerful ones, who are just seemingly above the law.
Their response has been one of rather perplexing confidence. Buoyed by the lack of further arrests, they have decided to be much more blunt with their requests, threatening anyone they believe had handed over information to assist with the creation of the video Coronation. This video detailed links former Deputy Premier John Barilaro had with development company Coronation Property. The video encompassed more than Coronation.
Somebody hired them and paid them probably like $100,000 to harass him. So he would take the or because they're just pissed at him because he probably ruined their lives with his expos.
Enraged with its release, police have made it very clear that many of the prime suspects in the firebombing are in that video.
The video he's talking about here is a video Friendly Jordies and his team released called Coronation, and this shit was so hot it'd leave the toilet bowl steaming. It was massive. Friendly Jordies and his team released a firebomb of their own with this one here. Really? Coronation highlights a lot of horrible things going on with a lot of very scary and powerful people doing bad shit. And they
Friendly Jordy. I love that guy. He was talking to oh god, what's his name? The older guy who's been at war with the government. I can't think of his fucking name right now. My stepfather really likes him. Oh god, I'll think of it, but yeah. And the Friendly Jordy was actually such an awesome guy. He was such an awesome guy. Yep.
Target on Friendly Jordy's back. Really, it put the target right on his fucking forehead, right on his noggin, because this was a big deal. It caused a lot of ripples, and it made him public enemy #1 of this group of people.
Now, over a year later, these figures are once again venting, threatening dire consequences if the video isn't taken down. Given these people's colourful history...
No, I don't know this guy. This guy's different. Never mind.
Naturally, we contacted the appropriate authorities.
I don't know. I've never seen this guy.
Men have engulfed the state in a state of fear. It appears these men are indeed above the law. It appears these men are free to point the scythe at anyone they wish, blackmail them with the most heinous, violent acts imaginable, and there is not an authority in the land powerful enough, or perhaps foolhardy enough, to check them.
Just tragic. Where do you go when the authorities abandon you? What are you supposed to do when
don't.
the people that
You
are
just
supposed to
don't
protect
go.
you refuse to because
screwed.
the people that are coming after you are stronger than them? And
She doesn't
out of their
go.
reach, just untouchable. What can you possibly do besides just comply?
Just comply.
But if the content of coronation is to fall on willfully deaf ears, if its only tangible result is the death of innocent people, we will not have their lives hang on our conscience. In other words, you win. We're taking down the video. Congratulations, you run this city.
It's sad because it's such an important piece of investigative journalism, but it's also the only choice they could make in this situation. This isn't a group that's making idle threats. They have already firebombed twice.
They firebombed
and they have a
his
history
house
of doing a lot more.
They're gonna kill him.
As was highlighted by Jordy's and his team.
You win, and he just
So
gives
they
up.
did the only thing they could when faced against this enemy.
And now we make it. We make it loud. I put it on my channel. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry you've gone to battle with these bad, corrupt fuckos. Probably crypto bros, probably fucked up in that criminal lifestyle and shit. They're fucked up because they've been running corrupt and running bribery scams with those police, and they're probably crypto bros, and they're probably fucking fucked up over something you did, and they're
no one's
not
ever
only
stolen
pissing
anything
you
out of
and
here.
making it
Not in the
personal, but
whole
they're also
history
like
of
leaving
the
a
whole
message
history.
like don't screw with South Wales and all this other. It isn't gangster shit. It's deep state thug bullshit.
They took down that video. Now, of course, since it's the internet, nothing's ever really gone forever in this cyberspace.
No.
Except, of course, for all my old YouTube videos I deleted when I was a teenager because I was embarrassed of them and worried that the copyrighted music would cause a problem, so I deleted them in like 2012. And I desperately want those videos back, but they can't be reclaimed. Those are the only things in the entire documented history of the World Wide Web that are apparently just fucking poofed out of existence forever and can't be brought back.
Yep.
But aside from that, nothing else has ever really gone forever. There's always re-upload, there's always archives of it. So
all of my stuff, past like month 9 or something like that, is on YouTube. All of my stuff for the last, like, I don't know, 15 months or something like that. And I've had so many people be like they're just surprised by the dream and they don't really understand it. I'm gonna show you 50 years of me on my fucking channel, and I don't care if I ever get fucking famous. I'm doing it anyways. You know what I'm saying?
Case, Coronation, the video that he had to take down, is re-uploaded 1,000 times already. So it's not like completely dead and buried or anything like that. And I saw a lot of people saying this could actually, you know, start the Streisand effect here on this and have even more eyes on this group, which I guess is possible. But I think the big victory for them is that they've shown that they can kind of bully and strong-arm anyone with impunity. They can't be touched by authorities. They just have this green light to do whatever they want with no repercussions.
Yep.
So they're able to force Geordies to take down a video they didn't like. And they're just demonstrating that power here. And I think that's kind of what they were aiming to do. Not so much shut down the information, because I'm sure they knew that this was just going to be re-uploaded, but it's just kind of letting Geordies and pretty much everyone else know that they can do what they want. And it's very
Where
fucking
is it
scary,
you would like to
just
go,
how
lads?
powerful
For
they
just
are.
a few coin,
Being
my
a
griffins
real
can get you there
investigative
faster
journalist
than even the
has to be one of the
swiftest
most
horse.
dangerous things you can do. I've mentioned this a few times before, but this isn't like the only example of this happening to an investigative journalist. It just happens to be one of the few times that happens to be a YouTuber.
So it's a
as
good
well.
video.
So more people are made aware of what's going on. One of the biggest ones that I always go to is the Panama Papers, if any of you remember that. The Panama Papers were a massive deal for about a day. And then collectively, the whole world stopped talking about it mysteriously, even though the Panama Papers were quite alarming. And one of the lead investigative journalists behind the Panama Papers released was actually killed in a car bomb. And nobody ever talked about it.
FBI,
I bet most
they
of you
like
didn't even
they
know
like
that. Anytime I
They
bring
like
that up,
that.
I'm met with question marks in my stream
Oh
chat.
yeah, the FBI was sued by Judy Berry the Earth First Lady. We're talking a Greenpeace hippie dippy activist who had never done a violent thing in her life. The FBI put a car bomb in her car and blew off her arms and her fucking legs. It left her crippled, and all her life she sued the FBI. She fought the FBI and sued the FBI, and she won, and they admitted to it. But then they settled. And the FBI admitted that they had blown up a fucking civilian. You know? And it was like a casino situation. Her name is Judy Berry, Judy. You can pull, or Judi, excuse me. Judibari. And yeah, she's very famous. And, yeah, they ever since her, I've not trusted them. If they'll try and blow you up for being a peacenik Greenpeace activist, imagine what they'll do to somebody like me who will literally say something like kill the president, you know, when Trump's in power, you know. Imagine what they'll do to me. You know what I'm saying? That isn't like she was like going up in front of the machines so that the loggers couldn't do their work. And this drove Hoover's boys or whatever, the people that were trained by Hoover, this drove them crazy. Jesse Helms or whoever the fuck. They went crazy and they blew her up in her fucking car, and she knew exactly what it was. She caught him. She had evidence in the case that was like caught them red-handed. She proved it in court that they did what they did. And she nailed them, and the world just forgot. Like what Charlie's saying here, the world just fucking forgot that they blew off Judy Berry's fucking arms and legs. That's the American government. We forget about this stuff, and I don't wish to sow some insurrection or try to drum up the blood of the fucking, you know, the lower class and the working class and all this. I've always been kind of a working class hero type. I just like acknowledging that this stuff happened. Because it's good. If we don't learn from the fucking shit, we're doomed to repeat it. And then, you know, in 20 years, we're going to act surprised when they blow up a journalist. But I mean, no, they've been doing that for years. Our corrupt government is out of control. But I'm not saying we need to do anything about it. I'm just saying acknowledge it and understand it, and understand it's like a systemic problem that doesn't really stem from just one person or one entity. Really, it's just a whole lot of corruption and problems that kind of stews into this like terrible problem where like anybody can act with impunity if they want to in the background, like shadows essentially, and it's not too good. It's not too good. It's like they're like versed in Cold War tactics, and they know what to do. It's all about PR. They paint a story like, oh, I'm giving in and I'm just not going to do the story, you know? That's how they played this, and they were successful with it too. Fucked up, I gotta say, it's fucked up. That's fucked up, man. Charlie's video was good. I was very impressed. It was some of the more SJ dub crazy stuff than I would have expected out of him, but you know, it's cool to see that he cares. I'm impressed. I wouldn't have pegged him to care about that sort of thing, but I guess he does. So yeah, he was speaking about the Panama Papers, and I think I screwed up and closed him, so we'll go back to the history and close it. But the Panama Papers, we'll look into that next, because I don't know the whole extent of that whole bit. This history, where is it? It's like the history, yeah. Looking for my history, the bad guys one.
The best stories ever told.
Yeah.
Going on, so that way people can be more aware. So what Jordy's and his team do...
Oh, it's a re-upload of Coronation by Friendly Jordy's.
And they are very, very good at it. So it's just really upsetting to see them have to admit defeat at the hands of this corruption they've been...
Yeah, so here, let's watch the original video. Here we go.
Is going to stop me doing what I'm going to do to you. I know where your parents live, and I know you have a dog. I'm going to stab it. That's a threat that the police allege was made by a notorious bikie who, for legal reasons we can't name, so we're just going to call him Tony K. Police allege he made this threat over the phone to plumber Stephen Toy back in March of 2009. What was alleged by police to have happened in the weeks after this threat was made is absolutely, for lack of better words, insane. If you follow the people, the money, and the companies that were all connected to Tony K and this threat, and you follow them for years down the line, what you'll find is a web of disturbing connections to some of the most senior political and senior business figures in Australia. This is a story about the kings of Sydney's
Oh no, this
property
is
development
Australia. I
industry
thought it was
and
Britain.
attempt to
South
make sense
Wales. Yeah,
of
that's Australia.
their coronation. The following information has been gleaned from court documents and police statements Friendly Geordies has viewed, namely from police statements of Stephen Toy, a self-employed plumber from Western Sydney. We'll begin in 2009 when Stephen Toy, then aged 27, alleges he was friends with a man by the name of Andy Nahas. Andy Nahas at the time was a 20-year-old man from Maryland. His family had been in the property development business for quite some time, running...
Guys, I'm going to put this one on my channel. This is really good stuff. So we're going to start over. And this one's good enough to put on the screen. We're going to do this guy honor because his life has been, you know, put at stake for this. And yeah, we'll see. We'll see what they're up to down there.
Not even God is going to stop me doing what I'm going to do to you. I know where your parents live, and I know you have a dog. I'm going to stab it.
Wow.
That's a threat that the police allege was made by a notorious bikie who, for legal reasons, we can't name, so we're just going to call him Tony K. Police allege he made this threat over the phone to plumber Stephen Toy back in March of 2009. What was alleged by police to have happened in the weeks after this threat was made is absolutely, for lack of better words, insane. If you follow the people, the money, and the companies that were all connected to Tony K and this threat, and you follow them for years down the line, what you'll find is a web of disturbing connections to some of the most senior political and senior business figures in Australia. This is a story about the kings of Sydney's property development industry and attempt to make sense of their coronation.
Oh, we got this in America,
The following
too.
information has been gleaned from court documents and police statements Friendly Geordies has viewed, namely from police statements of Stephen Toy, a self-employed plumber from Western Sydney. We'll begin in 2009 when Stephen Toy, then aged 27, alleges he was friends with a man by the name of Andy Nahas. Andy Nahas at the time was a 20-year-old man from Maryland. His family had been in the property development business for quite some time, running Nahas Constructions. Stephen claims that he knows Andy from growing up around the Guildford and Marylands area, and that he also went to school with one of Andy's older brothers, either Joe or Fadi Nahas. Joe, who also goes by the name of Yusuf, was director of Nahas Constructions at the time. We'll get to that company soon. Anyway, the police statements given by Stephen Toy detail this strange story wherein Andy is owed money, around $4,500, by some man who was unidentified in the first statement, but in the second is referred only to as Andrew. The lack of $4,500 forces Andy to borrow $1,000 from a different unnamed man. Stephen, being the good friend he is, realises his mate knows Andrew's older brother, so he approaches that mate to see if he can get him to convince Andrew to give Andy back the $4,500.
Should have gone to get a 2-hour buff.
You following? Yeah, look, it's an extremely convoluted chain of debts that doesn't really make that much sense. And in all honesty, I don't think it's entirely true, but just keep following. It's worth it. Stephen's mate does approach Andrew, and Andrew pays Stephen's mate the $4,500, presumably under the pretext that that money will go back to Andy. Once the money is paid, Stephen calls his mate, who apparently says that he's just going to keep the money for himself and not give it to Andy to who it is owed. Thus, Stephen, being the good friend that he is, claims that he began to give Andy a couple of $100 here and there to help him out. Here's the statement. I agreed to help Nahas by giving him money when I had spare. Over the next 3 months, I continually gave Nahas in approximately $300 amounts. During this period, Nahas continually told me he had no money and he owed me money. And it wasn't right when the male kept his $4,500 from Andrew. I'm sorry, but when do normal people involve such a large number of intermediaries when chasing a few $1,000s worth of debts? This story is just odd, but here's where it gets odder. Stephen begins receiving phone calls from a man that on his first police statement he refused to identify, figuring that it's the man that Andy Nahas owes $1,000 to. The first call is on the 19th of March. Here's an excerpt from Stephen's first police statement.
Damn it, I couldn't run my...
About a month later, out of the blue, I got a phone call on my work phone. The number display on my phone said private number. I answered, and it was a male. He said, "How you going, Stephen?" I said to the male on the phone, "I'm fine. What is this regarding?" The male on the phone said, "It's about the money you owe Andy Nahas, because Andy owes me money." I said to the male on the phone, "It's between me and Andy. We've already worked it out amongst us." The male on the phone said, "Nuh, you have to come and see me, because Andy owes me money and you owe him money, so now he has to pay and you have to pay." I thought this may have been male number 3 who Andy owed $1,000 to. I said to the male on the phone, by chance, how much does he owe you? The male on the phone said $10,000. I said to the male on the phone, that's bullshit. What happens between me and Andy is between us. We're friends. What happens between you and Andy is between you and Andy. The male on the phone said, I expect you to come and see me. Don't disrespect me. I hung up the phone, terminating the call. I did not recognize the voice of the caller. However, he did recognize the voice of the caller, as it's revealed in Stephen's second police statement. Not only did he recognize the voice of the caller, but the caller identified himself as a man that Stephen knew, Bandito's bikie Tony K. Needless to say, the recount of this call in the second statement that Stephen gave is a lot more interesting. I answered the phone and a male person said, yeah, Steve, it's Tony K with you, brother. I said, yeah, mate, how can I help you? Tony said, I need you to come and see me. I said, what for? Tony said, it's got to do with Andy Nahas and some money. I said, mate, whatever got to do with me and Andy Nahas and money has to do with us. It has nothing to do with you. Tony said, Andy has been lying to me and he owes money and he hasn't told me the truth for a long time and I'm very upset with him. I'm going to speak with his brothers so I can get the money off them. I said, fair enough. I've got no money to give you. It has nothing to do with me. Tony said, I'm at my mother's house in Guildford. Come and see me. I said, what for? I have no reason to come and see you. I'm busy, mate. Tony said, I'm showing you respect, so you should show me respect and come and see me. I said, I'll see what I can do in the next few days. In this second statement, Stephen also claims that he'd seen Tony K around the Marylands area, had family connection to him, and also knew him from when he used to work security at the Pink Pepper Lounge in Parramatta, where he'd see him with a man that for legal reasons we'll call Charlie D. The reason as to why Stephen did not identify Tony on his first statement could be somewhat related to the last few lines of his second statement. I truly think that they would hurt or kill me and my family. They already hurt me so badly I thought I was going to die, and this is why I'm truly fearful for my life and my family's. Yeah, we'll get back to that later. Back to where we were though, it's then claimed in the days following this phone call, Stephen received numerous calls from a private number, which he didn't answer as he believed them to be from Tony K. This was until around the 23rd of March of 2009 when the police and Stephen alleged that Tony K rang Stephen's personal mobile, a number which Stephen claims only his mother, father, brother-in-law, sister, and a couple of close friends including Andy Nahas possessed. Stephen's second statement reads as follows. I received a phone call on my personal phone. There was a number displayed on the screen, but I did not recognize the number. I answered the call. A male said, it's Tony, what's happening? How come you haven't come to see me? I recognized this voice to be the same voice of the male who called me the first time, identifying himself as Tony K. I said, mate, I don't have time for this shit. Tony said, where are you now? I will come and see you. I said, no, mate, nah. Tony said, not even God is going to stop me doing what I'm going to do to you. I know where your parents live, and I know you have a dog. I'm going to stab it. I said, okay, mate, no worries. Are you finished? Tony said in Arabic, I'm going to f*** your God. I said, no worries, mate. I could hear a male voice in the background say, we're going to your parents' house. We'll see you there. I hung up the phone. About a week later, I went to visit my parents at the service station. I bumped into a friend who told me Tony K was in hospital. He had been in a car accident. Because I hadn't heard from Tony, I realised this must have been why. Then there's a rather large time gap between this and the next incident in the statement. It doesn't really detail any alarmed conversations Stephen might have had. I guess he could have just been relaxed about some bikie f***ing his God. According to the statements, the next event occurs on Thursday the 15th of April. Stephen goes to work at his friend's house at Rydalmere, and throughout the day he receives numerous calls from Andy Nahas. About 1:30 PM the same day, I saw a missed call on my personal mobile telephone from Andy Nahas. I called him back. Nahas answered and asked what time I finished work. I said, not sure, probably 3:30, 4 o'clock. Nahas said, okay, what time will you be able to come and see me? I said, I will ring you when I'm free. The call ended about 3:30 PM. The same day I received a call from Nahas. I answered and Nahas said, what do you reckon the absolute latest is that you'll be able to come and see me? I said, I'm not sure, mate. Nahas said, what you reckon about 7? I said, I don't. Probably earlier. The call ended. About 5:30 PM I received another call from Nahas. At this time I was at another mate's house. Nahas said, how long are you going to be? I am in Guildford. I need to see you. We need to sort the money out. I said, just after 6 o'clock I'm busy. The call ended. About 6 PM I received another call from Nahas. I answered. Nahas said, I'm at Red Rooster, can you come see me? I said, mate, give me 10 minutes and I will be there. I left my mate's house and I drove to the Red Rooster at Guildford. This is around where the statement takes a violent and dramatic twist. Stephen borrows his mate's van, drives to Red Rooster, and Well, again, there's very little point in doing anything other than reading the second statement. When I pulled into the driveway, I saw Andy Nahas in his car. It is a silver-coloured Toyota Camry Sportivo. Nahas was in the front passenger seat, another male was in the driver's seat, there was another male in the back seat. I think they are uni friends of Nahas. I parked the van next to his Camry and spoke with him through the window. Nahas got out of the car and came to my window. Nahas said, "Look, what are you doing?" I said, "I have to go load the van. I need at least an hour and then I'll meet you." Nahas said, okay. At this time, a black Commodore drove into the car park. Nahas said, "Look, there's Sarge's car." The Commodore had very dark tinted windows and I could not see inside. It parked on an angle about 3 meters from the rear passenger side of my van. I turned my head to the left and I saw all 4 doors.
Oh
of the
my
Commodore
God!
open. 4 males got out of each door and ran to my van.
What?
At this stage, I only recognized Tony K. He ran to the passenger side of my van. Tony is about 22 years old. He is Middle Eastern appearance and is skinny. He is very tall, about 6'2". He's about my height, but because he's slim, he looks really tall. He was clean shaven and looks really baby faced. He looks to me like a kid. He was wearing grey coloured 3/4 pants, white coloured Nike shoes, a dark coloured hat, either Nike or G-Star, and a grey and horizontal striped hoodie. The hood was on his head covering the hat. As he was running towards the car, he held the front of his jumper up and I could see a Glock. The Glock was black, but looked badly scratched. Tony pulled the Glock out of the front of his pants and I watched as he cocked the gun. This all happened in a matter of seconds. One of the males opened the passenger door. It would have opened about 30 centimeters. I leant over and pulled the door shut and locked it. I sped off. I drove out of the car park and turned left. I'm not sure what street I turned onto, but it is the same street the Guildford Club is on. I looked in my rear vision mirrors and I saw the males run back to the black Commodore. They sped out of the car park behind me. On this road, the black Commodore overtook me just as the round meets Marion Street. I tried to turn left, but the Commodore pulled in front of me and I could not continue driving without running into the car. Tony K got out of the rear passenger seat. He ran towards the van with his shirt up and I could again see the pistol. Tony ran toward the driver's side. I reversed backwards about 10 meters. I put the car back in first gear and drove back towards the roundabout. I drove straight through the roundabout and turned right at the Guildford Bowling Club. I drove all the way to Marylands Road. I again looked in my rear view mirror and rear vision mirror and I saw Andy Nahas's silver Camry speeding up behind me. I went to turn right onto Marylands Road. The silver Camry forced me onto the wrong side of the road and then they got jammed behind a median strip. I kept driving towards a roundabout. I turned left at that roundabout. Granville Park was on my right hand side. I then saw the silver Camry drive up again behind me. I continued driving over a bridge that goes over the railway tracks. There were cars lined up at the traffic lights. I drove around the cars and through the red light and turned left onto Pitt Street. The Camry was still chasing me. On Pitt Street, the Camry overtook me. As it did, I turned right into a one-way street, and the Camry had no choice but to keep going. At the end of the one-way street, I turned right into McFarland Street and drove past Maryland's RTA. This car chase appears to be verified by the police, as in their statement it claims that CCTV footage from Maryland's railway station depicts a white van on the wrong side of the road, followed closely by a silver sedan. At this point, Stephen believes he's lost his pursuers, which include Andy Nahas, Tony K and a few other men, so he apparently drives the van to its owner's grandmother's house in Greystanes. When he gets out, there's no one home, so he leaves the keys in the letterbox and walks down the road. Now poor Stephen has really bad luck because apparently as he got to a road just down from the house, Andy Nahas's silver Sportivo pulls up. Tony K, Andy Nahas, a bloke by the name of Olsen and another male got out of the car. At this point in the statement, we get to the obligatory near-forensic description of what brand of clothes each of the men were wearing. Nike Air Maxes seems to be a favourite, but as interesting as scallywag attire might be, the next section of the statement is far better. I got into a verbal argument with Tony and Olsen. We were yelling at one another. I remember him saying it was no longer about the money, it was about principle, and I had made Tony look like a gronk. Olsen walked towards me and I shaped up and got ready to fight. Tony pulled the Glock out of the front of his pants and cocked it back. Tony said, "Give me your phones." I handed Tony my personal mobile telephone. Tony and Olsen then grabbed me and pushed me into the back seat of the car. I was sitting in the center of the back seat and Tony was sitting on one side and Olsen was on the other. They were yelling at Nahas saying, "Get f***ed. We will return the car when we feel like it." Got into the driver's seat and the other male got into the front passenger seat. drove off, and Nahas was left on the side of the road. One of them put a jumper over my head and forced me to lean down forward. I don't know which one it was. Whilst my head was down, I was repeatedly smashed in the face and head. I immediately felt severe pain in my head. The car drove for about 15 minutes. I was assaulted the whole time whilst the car was moving. I do not know who was assaulting me as my head was covered. I felt the car pull into the driveway. Moments later, the car stopped and I heard all 4 doors open. One of the males said, "Shut up, don't say a word, put your head down." Someone tried to pull me out of the right-hand side of the car. I hung onto the center console. I didn't want to get out. I eventually turned my body and tried to get out. I put my right leg out the door. When I put my left leg out, I felt someone grab it and twist my left foot inwards. This was extremely painful, and I thought my leg was going to break. As they were twisting my leg, I turned onto my stomach and crawled out of the car. Keep in mind, these are just details from Stephen's second statement. In his first, he details being stabbed in the car, but we'll continue. I ended up lying face down on what I believe was a concrete driveway. The concrete was light grey in colour. It looked like old concrete. One male said, "Get up, get up." I did, and they walked me into the garage. My head was still down and covered. I could only see the ground. Stephen's statement then alleges that he's repeatedly assaulted and then threatened and held against his will in this garage. I could slightly see through a gap. Olsen in front of me, he punched me in the face and I immediately put my hands up in defense. He said, "Put your hands down." I put them down. Olsen swung again and punched in the face. And I put my hands up. I remember he was breathing heavy. I then started to be repeatedly assaulted again by Olsen, only now he was using a 4x2 wooden plank. It was painted a very light grey blue colour. He was hitting to my face and arms. During this time I saw Charlie D. He was with Tony and Olsen was still in the garage. I know Charlie D through work when I was in security. He had caused a problem at one of the clubs I was working at in 2007. Tony, Charlie and Olsen had a conversation. I heard one of them say, "What are we going to do with him?" I heard Charlie say, "Just cut him up and chuck him in the river." Everyone left me for a short time in the garage alone. Moments later, Olsen came back in and tied my hands and feet with cable ties and then gaffer tapes around the ties. Olsen then punched me in the right eye. I knew I was bleeding because I felt blood run down my face. He then punched me in the left eye and I felt immediate pain. I saw stars. He left me sitting on the ground, now with my hands and feet tied, and the cover was now off my head. I think it just fell off. Olsen turned the light out, walked out of the garage and pulled down the roller door. I heard a padlock lock on the outside. Sometime later, the roller door opened and walked in. He was alone, was carrying a bottle of water, came over to me and helped me have a drink. As my hands were tied, I could not hold the bottle, so he held it to my mouth and tipped water in. I could see the bottle was the Fiji brand and was a rectangular bottle. It was clear and the water inside was ice cold like it was straight out of the fridge. Was carrying a torch or something, so he did not turn the light on. He said, "Are you alright?" I said, "No, I'm f***ed." Left the bottle beside me in the garage and left, closing the roller door again behind him. Sometime later, approximately half an hour, the roller door opened and Olsen and Charlie walked in. They turned the light on. One of them said, "Get up, get up." They helped me to my feet and set me on a chair. The same chair I described in my other statement. They tied my body to the chair. My arms were also tied to the back of the chair around my elbows. My hands were left cable tied and gaffer tapes. However, they cut my feet and re-cable tied them to the legs of the chair. They left the garage, turning off the light and closing the garage door again. My version from here is exactly as I stated in my original statement. However, at some stage, I believe it was the following day, Tony K came into the garage and he was with his cousin. I know of Tony's cousin through working at clubs. Andy Nahas has also mentioned him. I have seen him before, however never spoken with him. Charlie D was with them. They were in the garage with me for about 20 minutes, and during this time Tony K stood on my face and continually told me don't look up. The other two were saying stuff, but I don't remember what they were saying. At one stage I was lying on my side and Tony was standing on my face. Tony said, "Go and get the bolt cutters. We're going to cut your toes off and send them to your mum." I screamed, "No, no, no, no," and I started kicking and moving. Tony K said, "Okay, we won't do that. We will cut your finger off and send it to your mum. You won't bleed though, because we will burn the metal and hold it where we cut your finger off and it will stop the bleeding." Tony K then said, "Look up." I could see he was holding a piece of sponge. It was like greeny colour and it looked like an underlay. He said, "Put this in your mouth so you don't scream when we cut your finger off." I could see Tony K was holding a pair of garden shears and had them open around my left thumb. I thought he was going to cut my left thumb off. He just stopped and let me go. Tony K then said, "You have two options. You can either let me shoot you in both of your knees and we will drop you off at the hospital and let you go, or you can think of who is going to come up with $50,000 for us." I said, "I don't know who's going to have that kind of money, mate, and I don't have my phone and can't go through it." Tony K said, "Well, think of someone and I'll leave you here for a few hours. You are a waste of time and having you here is a risk because people will start to know." Stephen's first statement then details multiple phone calls between him and his mother in a desperate attempt to raise the $50K. Seemingly after these fail, one of these men gets spooked and releases Stephen, but only after he spent a night locked up in the garage. In his first statement, Stephen, like he did with Tony, refuses to identify this man, but his second statement reads as follows. "Was the person who took me home. There was no one else there that day. The reason I did not tell the police this part of my version when I first made my statement was because I'm extremely scared of these people. During the time they held me, they repeatedly told me that if I told police or anyone went to the police, that I'd be dead. No one
Your
would
skill
ever
has
find me,
increased.
and they would do the same to my family. What they did to me, they had people on standby to do it. From this experience, I believed this to be true. I truly think that they would hurt or kill me and my family. They already hurt me so badly I thought I was going to die, and this is why I am truly fearful for my
Your
life
skill has
and my
increased.
family's. I am so scared that they will do more bad. They know where my family lives.
God, you killed me,
Since
didn't
the
you?
incident,
Of
I've
course you
been
did.
in hiding
Son
because
of a
I'm
bitch.
scared they will
That's
come
all
and
right.
kill me.
I didn't see this
After
party
being
coming.
released by Stephen goes to his parents' house, then immediately to hospital where he's treated for broken left eye socket, head trauma, severe bruising to face and eyes, stab wound to the left side of his chest, cut to his right eyebrow, severe bruising to both his arms, constant headache, chipped front lower teeth, severe swelling to face, eyes, neck and arms. But the ordeal apparently isn't over for Stephen, as police allege that whilst he was being treated in hospital, a group of men came looking for him. The police statement reads as follows. While Stephen Toy was at Westmead Hospital, Mustafa Jawad, Tony K and another male separately entered the emergency reception
Please,
of
Vogue.
Westmead Hospital.
Please, Vogue.
CCTV
God damn
footage
it.
obtained from the hospital depicts Jawad, Tony and in the foyer of the emergency ward. At one point, all three meet up and sit in a group on provided chairs. At various points, is seen to approach the reception desk. On one occasion, Tony is present at the reception desk with him. CCTV depicts Dward gaining access to the ward while Stephen's mother was in the ward waiting for the complainant, who had been taken for a CT scan. She indicates that male matching the description of Dward walked down the aisle and seemed to be looking into each separate bed area. He looked like he was trying to find someone. She heard him speak to a nurse and say, "That guy that has been bored in and was bashed in the last 2 days, can you tell me what his first name is?" She reports that the nurse said surname and the response was no first name. The nurse said, "You'll have to go to the front desk." Stephen's mother reports that the nurse told her that there had been an inquiry about her son. Stephen's mother asked her to find out their name and who they claimed to be. She indicated that a short time later, one of the administration spoke to her and indicated that there had been a man saying his name was and he was Stephen's brother-in-law. The complainant was made anonymous for hospital purposes. Stephen then makes the two statements to the police, one on the 18th of April and the other on the 24th. The second one I just read the bulk of. This seemingly leads the police to wiretap the phones of the accused. On the 9th of May, Stephen Toy texts Andy Nahas the following. "You had nothing to do with it. I told I'd seen you before I was going to my mum's house, and then I drove off, and then stopped to make a call, then I got bashed and robbed. And when I was in hospital, they thought I was a bikie and everything. I'm not. I just told them I got bashed and robbed, bro. I didn't mean to put you in. I told them it had nothing to do with you. I just seen you quickly before it happened. That's it. I was full in hospital on morphine and I had 3 detectives screaming at me, bro. I gave them the biggest blow-ass story, man. I'm sorry that they busted your balls. The police statement also detailed phone calls, lawfully intercepted telephone communications, recorded extensive phone conversations / SMS messages between Andy Nahas and Stephen Toy in relation to the kidnapping. Further conversations / SMS contact was then had between Andy Nahas and Tony Kay. On one occasion, 9th of May 2009, during an exchange of a number of SMS messages between Andy Nahas and Stephen Toy about the offence, Stephen Toy indicated that he is interstate. Andy Nahas called Tony Kay and relayed the information from the SMS messages. During this call, Andy Nahas refers to Stephen Toy as that bitch and that girl. He also tells Tony Kay he reckons he is interstate. Tony Kay says, "Where's interstate?" Andy Nahas says words to the effect of, "I don't know, we're going on a holiday, cuz." Tony Kay says, "Alright, bye." Conversations have also been intercepted between Andy Nahas. 3 days later, on the 12th of May, about 20 heavily armed police raid the homes of Tony Kay and 3 other suspects, arresting and charging Tony Kay, Andy Nahas, and Olsen with kidnapping offences. I believe all were denied bail apart from Andy Nahas, who was released on a $25,000 bond paid for by his brother Joe Nahas. Along with the bond, Andy's bail conditions included report daily to police at Marylands, surrender passport to register at Liverpool local court, do not apply for any travel docs or approach any points of departure from Australia, not approach or contact any co-offenders, victim or witnesses or cause anyone else to, and a non-association order with any members of the Bandidos Motorcycle Club. On the face of it, this ordeal appears to be a pretty slam dunk case for the cops. You've got a witness, phone taps, CCTV footage, but what happens just a month later appears to derail the entire case. On the 15th of June 2009, the police receive a letter from Stephen Toy's lawyer advising them that Stephen no longer wish to be a witness. It reads as follows. Dear Detective Sergeant Woods, re Stephen Toy, we've been instructed to advise and represent Mr. Toy in relation to an investigation which we understand is currently being conducted by you and by other members of the gang squad. We understand the police spoke to our client on or about the 17th of April when our client was a patient at Westmead Hospital. Certain allegations were apparently made by our client at that time, although at that time we understand no person was identified by it. We were also instructed that on a subsequent occasion our client was spoken to at a police station. At that time, further information was provided by our client to police in which persons were apparently named by him. We are instructed that our client has serious reservations and concerns of the accuracy of the information he provided to police. He instructs us that he is uncertain about the accuracy of allegations he has made, particularly as he was under a regime of medication on both occasions following prescription by hospital medical staff, which includes sedatives and painkilling medication in addition to antibiotics. Our client is not able to provide details or precise details of the medication, but no doubt the hospital records would confirm the details if necessary. Our client instructs us that he does not wish to pursue any allegations he may have made, nor does he wish to participate in any other interview by police, nor does he wish to become embroiled in any criminal prosecution as a witness. Our client wishes to resume his normal day-to-day life without being subjected to the pressure inherent in criminal proceedings over which he has no control, and in which allegations he has made, which are unreliable to say the least, given his previous medical condition, will be relied upon to prosecute other people. In these circumstances, our client has instructed us that he does not wish to be approached by police. If there are any further matters which the police wish to take up with our client, he requests that these be directed to this firm. Subject to any advice by this firm to the contrary, our client will not agree to be questioned directly. We look forward to receiving your confirmation that police will respect the wishes of our client. Yours faithfully, Chris
Look at that,
Watson,
25 grand.
Watson
Oh yeah.
Solicitors. Odd.
It's nice to have some income
Forensic
finally.
Scientists basically state, no, antibiotics are not magic mushrooms. They don't change your memory, quote. Their medication he was taking or prescribed would not have caused him to give inaccurate information to police or be uncertain of events which are described in Mr. Toy's statements. However, he was allegedly kidnapped and assaulted, which would be expected to have a traumatizing effect and may affect memory. Various legal skirmishes ensue over the following months. In December 2009, Andy Nahas's lawyers flagged their intention to cross-examine Stephen Toy. Keeping in mind, This is months after Stephen's lawyer had stated to the police that Stephen no longer wished to be a witness. The Department of Public Prosecutions agreed to cross-examination, yet there's a question as to if the hearing will even happen, as the key witness is not supporting the prosecutions. Then there are very little documents we've managed to view really until August and September of 2010. The most interesting one being this one dated the 6th of September 2010, where a police officer from the gang squad makes the following statement. Between the 2nd of August and 6th of September 2010, I made numerous attempts to locate Stephen Toy, including attending his last known premises. Every time I attended these premises, no persons were home. On the 6th of August 2010, I attended the last known address for Toy's solicitor. No persons were at this address. I then contacted the mobile telephone number for this service. No person answered. And there was no message service for a message to be left. I then got in contact with Dukran Yakinian, Toy's last known solicitor, who stated to police that he had not spoken with Toy in some months and no longer had his contact details. Yakinian was going to try and get his details from a friend of Toy who still was in contact with Yakinian. From this date, I've been unable to get in contact with Yakinian. The mobile telephone rings out and there's no message service. On Monday the 30th of August, I spoke with a source who stated that Toy was now friends with Tony K and would not be attending court even if he was issued with a subpoena. The source stated that Toy would rather be charged and sent to jail himself before attending to give evidence as a witness. Inquiries relating to the medical records and tax records have both been made and neither assisted in locating Stephen Toy. He disappeared.
These guys are the muscle of really corrupt Australian officials, and they're all connected. They're like wise guys. And it's they drew a direct connection. That's very rare. Very rare can you draw a direct connection, but they did it here. These guys should be taken care of, really. But will the Australian government do anything about the corrupt Australian government? I'm not so sure. I don't know about that. I'm gonna go get my 2-hour buff, and I'm gonna fly to Theramore. I'll go post on the auction house and buy monopots. I guess they seem to be really helping. They're expensive, but they help. They're an expensive habit, though. They're burning my money. I probably shouldn't rely on them. Need money for gear.
Out.
What's this? Chorizo Assassino slapped me for some reason. Don't know why. Mechlex. Mucklax. Back to Vadunia to die to stupid dark elementals.
Weird. Police couldn't find Stephen. Fun fact, Toy's last known solicitor, Dukran Yakinian, the one the police also couldn't contact, He had a professional misconduct finding held against him in 2019 for various reasons, including misleading a court. And the same day this statement is made by the police, the charges against Andy Nahas are dismissed. I believe it's the same for his co-accused.
I should
But it
shop
gets
for
better for
here.
Andy and co, as not only are the charges dropped, the Department of Public Prosecutions pays for their legal costs. Andy gets over 30k. Oh, but Andy was lucky already, because according to documents viewed by Friendly Geordies, Nahas Constructions, the firm run by his family, was already paying his legal costs. That might explain why they were using Doyle's construction lawyers in a serious criminal matter. What a story as it is. An alleged violent kidnapping, police raids, phone taps, a witness seemingly disappearing. It's like the end of season 1 of The Wire. But to get to the real heart of this story, you have to see what the accused got up to in the 12 years following this ordeal. Tony K, up until recently, ran a construction business creatively titled K Constructions. He remained squarely in the eye line of cops in the years after the kidnapping charges, chiefly for an unsolved 2009 murder, an alleged murder that took place just months before the alleged kidnapping. No wonder Stephen was scared. For over a decade, this murder has gone unsolved, and no perpetrator was arrested. Earlier this year, Tony K was charged with the murder, but who and what are the political connections to the people involved in this ordeal? Well, Andy Nahas also stayed in the construction industry, eventually becoming the secretary of a large property development group, Coronation Property, in 2016. Any guesses who Coronation Property hired as their executive director earlier this year? Yeah, it's John Barilaro. Again.
That's super far superior. John Barilaro again.
Yes, bruz. Announcing that he was working for Coronation, the company that Andy Nahas, the guy police unsuccessfully alleged was a kidnapper, worked for as well, Barilaro grandly proclaimed, "It's rare in life to come across an opportunity where the vision excites you and the passion of the individuals behind the name is so infectious that it captures you. Let me introduce to you #Coronation Property. My next chapter begins." He just has an eloquent way with words. But what a short chapter that was. Not as short as the one that followed it. John goes to New York from February this year right up until he got his trade commissioner role. Well, right up until he thought he got the trade commissioner role. John Barilaro worked as the executive director of Coronation Property, the property development company run by the Nahas family. And the secretary at the time was our friend and co-star of the story that you just heard, Andy Nahas. Coronation Property is the company that grew from the ashes of Nahas Constructions, the company that paid for Andy's legal costs. Both have been directed by Andy's brother Joe Nahas, or Yusuf Nahas.
I got an entire set.
Nahas Construction's connections to this alleged kidnapping are at the very least bizarre. Police claim that the phone calls that took place when Stephen was kidnapped between him and his mother, where he demanded $50,000 for Tony K, in exchange for not being chopped up and thrown in the river, those calls were made on a phone that was subscribed to a provider by Nahas Constructions. By the way, they also alleged that one of the co-accused was employed by Nahas Constructions. I believe at some point the police alleged that Tony K was also employed by Nahas Constructions, but statutory declarations submitted by Joe and Fadi Nahas of Nahas Constructions vigorously disputed that claim. Alleged bikie connections aside, the political and business connections of Nahas Constructions from around the time are compelling. Nahas Constructions donated $13,950 to the Liberal Party in 2010, leading up to the 2011 election. They also used to be the goalpost sponsor of the Parramatta Eels. In fact, it had been previously reported by the Sydney Morning Herald that director Joe Nahas in 2010 had facilitated an introduction between a Parramatta power broker and a member of the Obeid family. Coincidentally, in 2016, Tony K made headlines after Parramatta Eels footballer Corey Norman and Junior Palo and Penrith Panthers James Sagiaro were photographed dining with him and members of the alleged Al-Aberdeen crime family at Golden Century Restaurant. Later in the night, Norman was caught in possession of drugs at Star Casino. The footballers were issued warnings by police for consorting with criminals. But back to what happened in Nahas Constructions. Well, as the Obeids well and truly found out, all good things must come to an end, and in 2012, Nahas Constructions went bust, leaving a trail of subcontractors chasing up unpaid debts. In fact, one subcontractor, Bluestone, blamed Nahas Constructions' alleged failure to pay them for their work for their demise. Things obviously got pretty desperate, as it was reported in 2013 that Standover Man and Mick Gatto associate Alex Talul was employed by desperate contractors to chase debts from Nahas Constructions. It wasn't looking good for the Nahas family business. Kate McClymont reported in October 2012, Joe Nahas, who also goes by Yusuf Nahas, listed himself as unemployed on his personal insolvency agreement. This allows a debtor to come to an agreement with creditors to settle debts without becoming bankrupt. Yet only about a year later, as reported by McClymont, in March 2014, he became a director of Coronation, and 2 months later, Nahas finalised his obligations to creditors, according to corporate records. Like a phoenix from the ashes, Coronation Property rose. Coronation Property is a venture between the Nahas family and corporate lawyer and businessman John Landerer, who along with Joe Nahas became a director. Like the Nahases, John Landerer is also a Liberal Party donor, donating tens of thousands of dollars to the party over the years, including to the New South Wales fundraising body, the Millennium Forum. You know, the one that got busted accepting mafia donations and set up politicians with developers. With Joe and John as directors, the same Andy Nahas, who was charged with kidnapping,
they make fun of
became
Democrats in
secretary of
America for
Coronation
this
in
too.
2016. Friendly Geordies has previously revealed that this is the same year in which Andy
Somebody
was
took
also
my
charged with
elemental.
assaulting a security
Damn it.
guard. For this charge, the other director of Coronation Property, an esteemed lawyer, John Landerer, provided a character reference for Nahas. How sweet. Wherein he claims, I have no hesitation in advising my opinion that the offence is a one-off incident, not likely to ever be repeated, based on my belief that Mr. Nahas is a man of honesty and integrity and proud of his family's high standing in the community.
So I am going to pause to get up to make something to eat real quick, and I will be right back, guys. Terribly sorry, but I'm a human and I must eat. And I will be right back.
High standing in the community. Andy was convicted of that assault, by the way. Don't worry,
I
it was
can't
only
run
5
this
days
while
ago.
I'm
Not much for
AFK, so I'm going to pause. That sound is going to drive me crazy of her walking. Yeah. Excuse me. Okay, BRB. Yeah, what do? We do that, I guess. Do some soup. Frozen soup. Oh no, it's frozen. It'll have to defrost. This one will just go in the freezer, I guess, because, yeah, these will have to defrost. Yeah. I did not know. Yeah, these are full frozen. That'll have to defrost overnight, I guess. That's okay. So that changes things, I guess. I will do the other meal plan that I had. I was gonna have good French onion. I was gonna have good French onion soup, but it's frozen. This is right here. This is good cheese. Right here. Okay. Maybe we Okay, let's just see, where are we currently? Gotta go to the Darnessus AH, or well, I gotta go vendor. Then I'm gonna buy Enchanting Mask to do up all my armor again, and that'll be fun. I should go to the Enchanter Trainer, but that's all the way far away. I am currently trying to sell these, trying to sell those, trying to sell those. I am currently trying to sell those. Now, what else? I must enchant my chest, which is going to be 3 soul dust, I believe. Yes, minor stats is... Oh no, an astral. I need a greater astral. Yeah, greater astral. Then, bracers. Which will be 2 strange dust. Strange dust. 1. Look, see all the bot money. It's just dumb. All the bots. So stupid. Idiot fucking nerds. Can't seem to make their lives better, so they sit around and fucking like shit up the game that we all love. It's so dumb. Yep, okay, there's the bracer. And then I didn't pull more better gloves, but I did pull... Oh, I have to do my legs. Yeah, legs with Savage Roar. It's not a valid target? Okay. I don't know, maybe he's right. Maybe Mangle is better. I don't know. Alright, well, yeah, I think that's everything that I can do. Yeah, oh, the boots, right? No, I need Agi to boots, which is the other one. Agi to boots, which is... Got the soul dust for that, and the lesser mystic essence soul dust. And the lesser mystic essence, lesser mist. For 50 silver is expensive but worth it. Okay, I believe that's everything. So, I'll go to the tree. I shall eat my dinner quickly, have a beer. Okay, lesser Agi to boots. boots. Chest, greater health. I missed the soul dust, damn it. Or yeah, I missed 2 soul dust. Oops. I thought I had a better one than that. Oh, minor stats. No, I want stats. Stats is the one that I want. I don't want greater health. Okay, chest, right? And then bracer. Minor agility. And boots. Lesser agility, which I already did. And I think that's everything. Yeah, I don't have anything for gloves yet. So, and my cloak is good. I didn't look at cloaks, but that's okay. Maybe I should look at cloaks. Maybe there's a cheap one for gold. I'll invest. One of the things I noticed is my gears, it had become antiquated. Like a level 27 was killing me. That's ridiculous. If I had my current gear, I would not die like that. Can't seem to get that fish either. Soul dust, 3 of them. Oh no, wait. No, I did my enchant, right? I think so. Yeah, that's everything I need, right? I think so. I came back to look at cloth for the back. Yep. Wow, level 45 items for cloaks, huh? Wing of the Whelpling is 4 agi, 10 stamina. That's an improvement on what I have, but it's far too expensive. There's 9 stamina, but we're looking for anything agi at all. There's 5 agi, 6 stamina. That's an upgrade, but it's 2 gold 43. We don't have it. Good to check. And what else do we need? Maybe a ring. I just want to... Well, I don't know. My ring's good, I think, actually. I believe. So, yeah. So now we fly out to Theramore and turn in. Forgot that I did that yesterday, and that's going to give me quite a bit of XP, probably up to about here or something. Like right there. Right there. Just want to get on the flight because it's 7 minutes and yep. Okay, get up and hey, it's dark weather. Did the elemental pop? No, but the ghost did. There's a BST that is farming this elemental. That sucks. He keeps taking it. It's annoying.
Whose family owned $20 million houses. How far he's come since that alleged kidnapping. Plus, he's now in good company.
Wow, this is trippy. I had no idea Australian politics were this bad. I'll be right back. Oh, I forgot my fork, did I? Yes, I have nachos, potato nachos, so good.
Executive Director John Barilaro's beef with a different type of working men.
Oh no.
Coronation really do seem to be his people. I'm saying it now, he shouldn't have quit. They too understand the troubles of dealing with impertinent media. Take a look at these media clips from a few years back.
Some of Sydney's biggest developments, millions of dollars, an allegedly stolen Lamborghini, an attempted home invasion and assault. They're the
Sounds like them.
ingredients of a family war being played out right now in a Sydney court between three wealthy brothers.
The Nahas family is behind some of our biggest developments, from the paper mill in Liverpool to a luxury tower in Parramatta, not to mention lavish weddings like this. Shutting down the City West link in the months before Salim Mahajar's nuptials made headlines. But the cracks started to appear earlier this year in the form of a family feud over millions of dollars.
Oh, it's a wedding.
Fadi Nahas on one side claiming the dispute sparked this. CCTV of two unidentified men trying to kick down his front and back doors as his wife and child cowered inside. The cause of the incident, however, remains unknown.
Once we're warriors, three of us, we're great at what we've done, and just fallen apart, deteriorated over money.
Fadi, who claims he wasn't paid his cut of the Coronation Property Company, was accused in court of intimidating the managing director, his brother Joseph, telling him, "You are going to pay me my money and it's going to be nothing under $5 million. The court heard he also punched his brother in the face and took his Lamborghini and Range Rover. Fadi doesn't deny those allegations, but says the luxury cars were in lieu of the money he was